7-year-old loan officer Richard Sinise is suing his former friend, loan officer Melissa Trekkie, for half the commission on a loan.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, this is case number 273 on the calendar in the matter of Sinise versus Trekkie. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Sinise, the defendant was a friend of yours for several years and a co-worker at a mortgage refinance company.
Yes.
Your lawsuit alleges that you brought in a customer to refinance his mortgage. He was a friend of yours. And then, unfortunately for you, you were violated on a parole violation and you were sent to jail. You asked the defendant if she would like to finish the loan application with the agreement that she would split the commission with you. She agreed. And you were in prison for how long?
6 months.
When you got out of jail, you called her and said, "Where's my check?" And she says, "I'm not giving you your half of the check because I did all the work." That's your defense.
Basically. I have a little bit more to say about it.
Well, I hope not much more, madam. Let's see what we can agree upon.
Okay.
How long have you been working at this mortgage finance company?
Approximately a year.
And how much of a commission do you get when you refinance a loan?
It was 60% of all of the total fees that were involved in the loan.
So let's say I want to refinance a $100,000 mortgage. What would your commission be?
I'd probably make about $2,500.
What's your friend's name?
Paul, ma'am.
That's not him, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. Very good. Paul, step up, please.
Sure.
Paul, why did you want to refinance this loan?
I was going to invest in some other property I had, and it seemed like the interest rates were right at the time.
So you contacted your friend?
Yeah. I mean, I knew he was in the business. He told me he had just started working there, so.
You thought you'd give him the business?
Absolutely.
When was this?
I would say probably end of October, maybe the beginning of November, we started talking about it.
Of 2005?
Yes, correct.
And did you ultimately refinance your house?
Yes, I did.
Through the company that they worked for?
Yes, that's right.
And how much was the refinance?
I don't remember the exact, but I think it was around $250 something.
Mr. Sinise, how much was it?
The total refinance was $235,000, ma'am.
Is that correct, Ms. Trekkie?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what was the commission on that?
I ended up making $4,660. I have to check that. $4,666.51.
That was your entire commission?
Yes.
Now, when you found out that you were being violated, by the way, what were you violated for?
Dirty urine, ma'am.
Not smart. Right?
Right.
When you found out that you were going back to serve the rest of your term, what was your conversation with the defendant?
I had called the defendant that night, and I knew she was in financial hardship, and I could have used the money as well to make my car payments while I was away. So I asked her if she would be willing to finish the loan, and we would split the commission 50-50, and she agreed to that.
Okay. The loan was completed, and you got no money.
Correct.
Okay, Ms. Trekkie, now I'm waiting for the explanation.
Okay. When this all happened, he asked me to do the loan. There was nothing done on the loan initially. He had just talked to him and said, okay, I'm going to refinance your house. So
he was the rainmaker.
Excuse me?
You know what that means, rainmaker?
No.
That means he brings in the business. Because without his bringing in the business, there would have been nothing for you to share.
Correct.
So he didn't do anything on the loan but bring in the business.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Initially, the loan amount was supposed to be over $300,000. We went over the paperwork, the disclosures that he had printed out from when he, put the loan together.
When who put the loan together?
In the computer, put the loan together. You just print out paperwork.
So he had done something.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
He put something in a computer.
Yes, he did.
That's more than I could do. Go ahead.
Okay. We had gone over exactly what the loan was going to be like, and like I said, the loan amount was going to be larger because he had stated to me that he knew the value of the property, which was...
All right, you thought it was going to be $300,000. It turned out to be $235,000.
No, it was supposed to be about probably $50,000 more, correct. So, the loan amount. Because he wanted... Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, I asked him where he got that figure from, because that obviously makes...
You got to get to a point.
Okay. So, he made up the value of the property. When I found out the real value, we had to cut the original amount that we were supposed to split. We were supposed to split $9,000. That was the original total fee.
You could have backed out any time. Ms. Trekkie, first of all, this loan was completed... Listen to me. Hey, the loan was completed what month and year?
It happened just after January 1st, 2006.
Okay. Since January 1st, 2006, How much money have you made at the company?
Well, I left that company probably a few months later than that. I would say $10,000.
Since January 1st, 2006, how much money have you made?
$50,000.
I hope that the IRS is listening very carefully. How much money have you made since January 2006?
To be honest, I didn't file my last taxes. So,
Ms. Track.
yes.
If you decided when you got into this loan with Mr. Zemanek that the loan amount was inadequate for you to break a sweat and complete, you had that opportunity. But you had a contract with Mr. Sinise. Your contract with Mr. Sinise was you were going to split the commission. It wasn't I will split the commission with you of $9,000.
That was what our
No, it was not. Because that amount fluctuates. You got $4,666.51. Now, do you think that I think that Mr. Sinise said to you, I will split the commission, but if it's $4,666.51, you can keep it all yourself?
No.
No. No.
But when you're dishonest with somebody about the original contract, and I found that out through the
Say
process.
no, my dear. Say I don't want to do the loan.
Well, he was in jail, so I
I
couldn't tell
say,
him that,
Mr.
and
Zemanek, I don't want to do your loan. It's not worth my while to do
Well,
your loan
I
for
still could make the money.
$4,666.51. I would rather make nothing. I would rather make nothing than make $2,300. It's not worth it to me to make this lowly amount of money, especially when I don't have to share it with the government.
Well, I got an extension. I am filing now.
No, the time to file, madam, is past. Let me explain something to you. It passed October 15th. If you got a 6-month extension, it's over. Finished. They're going to come looking for you. They're going to steal your clothes. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,333. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It's like that? I definitely didn't backstab my friend because we had been friends since then. He told me to forget about the money until he got mad at me.
She didn't want to do me a favor when I was incapable of doing it myself.
Because I didn't do him a favor and get perfume for his girlfriend.
1 cent just cost her over $2,300.
He's a punk.
Tina Smoot is suing ex-boyfriend John Bambino for a loan she made him while he was between jobs. John claims Tina manipulated him with her money.
All rise.
Now, this is case number 515 on the calendar in the matter of Smoot versus Bambino. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Ms. Smoot, you and the defendant were dating, according to your complaint, and you loaned him some money.
Yes.
Mr. Bambino acknowledges that you gave him money, but he said it was just that. It was a gift. There was no indication when you gave him this money that you expected repayment of the money. You were sort of helping him out at a time that he needed to be helped out financially. He's counterclaiming because he says that in a fit of rage, you damaged his car, his clothes, and he also believes that you harassed him. That's his counterclaim. So tell me when you met him.
I met him in August of last year.
And when did you lend him the money?
In December of last year.
Tell me about it.
John had lost his job and he couldn't pay his rent.
When did he lose the job?
November.
What kind of job did you have, Mr. Bambino?
Car salesman, ma'am.
How long did you have that job with that company?
7 months.
Before that, where did you work?
He's a correction officer for the state of New Jersey.
How long were you working there?
15 years.
Go ahead.
In December, I was coming into some money through a lawsuit, and I had extra money, and, you know, he asked me to lend him his rent money for the month of December, and that's what it was. I lent him the money.
How much was it?
It was $1,200.
$1,200 for rent. Go ahead.
And one bill is $452.07.
What was that for?
A home entertainment system.
Who bought a home entertainment
that
system?
I bought for him, that he was supposed to pay me back for.
No. Miss Smoot, listen to me carefully. If somebody doesn't have money to pay his own rent, then you don't buy him a home entertainment center and expect him to pay you back. You're not a baby, right?
Right, Your Honor.
What else?
Cable bill, $100. I have a check that he wrote, that I gave him a blank check to take to the doctors that has his name in the memo for $80.
Did she give you a blank check to pay a doctor?
Yes, ma'am.
What else?
A gas bill for $100 in December.
$100 even?
Well, it was his gas bill was way more than that, but I only paid $100 on it.
Go ahead.
2 checks for food, one for $87.40, and one for $42.71.
Made out to whom?
To Acme.
Did you use those 2 checks?
No, I wrote them.
He doesn't know you for that.
Okay,
What else?
that's it.
Okay, Mr. Bambino. Ball is in your court, sir. Where are you working now?
Chevrolet 73.
So you're back to work.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So Ms. Smoot says that you said, if you pay my rent, as soon as I get a job, I'll pay you back. You say that's not true. Tell me what happened, Mr. Bambino. By the way, how old are you, sir?
43.
Have you been married?
Yes, ma'am.
You have children?
I have 2 daughters,
How old are they?
17 and 24.
When did you last live with them?
I have custody of my younger. Actually, I've had custody of both since my divorce in '98. I have custody of my youngest now.
So how are you supporting the children?
My mother helps me out, but I mean, I just ran into a tough time between, like, let's say the Monday before Thanksgiving, and I started my new job January 5th.
Right.
So it was approximately 6
So
weeks.
what you're telling me is your mother helps you out.
She helped me out in that particular time frame, yes, in the beginning of January.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
I met Tina, as she said, in the middle of August. We started the date.
Would you try looking at me
I'm sorry, yes,
rather than
ma'am,
keeping
sure.
your eyes closed? It's disrespectful.
I'm sorry. I met her in the middle of August at a club over in Philadelphia. Approximately 2 weeks later, she accused me of staring at a woman on the track. She told me to get in her Jeep. She started to give me a ride, which was the ride from hell. She just started driving down the interstate, doing approximately 70, 75 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic.
But after that, you took money from her.
No, well, ma'am, it's...
Listen to me. After that, you took money from her. So I'm not interested in a ride
I didn't
from
take
hell.
money.
Yes, you did.
She gave me the money, ma'am.
That's not what I said. I said you took money from her.
Yes.
After the ride from hell, which would have put me in a different county from somebody like that, you took money from her.
Yes.
Right. Did you think that the story you were going to tell me was going to make you a sympathetic character?
Not at all.
Good. Let's get to the money. Come on.
Oh, well, after several pretty bizarre things that Tina pulled between September and December, I tried cutting off the relationship several times. Tina's texts me 15, 20 times a day, calls me, begs me to let her back into our relationship, start our relationship over.
Is this your child?
No, ma'am. She's a witness in this factor. Tina, I let back in approximately 7, 8 times between September 1st all the way up to the February 11th. She just constantly says I'm cheating on her.
You want to know something? You want to tell the sad story? Go on Dr. Phil.
Right.
To me, I want to know. To me, I want to know about the money.
The money. Tina would manipulate things and try to get me to let her back in. And after 3 or 4 weeks of constant texting me every day and please begging me to let her come back and start the relationship over, I did it several times. Tina...
Bambino, listen to me carefully. Get to the money.
I am?
In December, she may be desperate and she may find something about you attractive. Mr. Bambino, I do not.
I know that.
You are 43 years old. You look every day of it.
I know.
And then some. And Mr. Bambino, and then some. I have children who are 43 years old, sir. That's not you. That's the first thing. Second thing is, let's get to the money in December. Excuse me, you date him?
No.
Perfect. Get to the money.
All right, I let Tina come back over in early December. She laid $1,200 on my couch and said, pay your bills with this. I don't care when you give it back to me, just pay your bills. She insisted. I did pay. I paid my rent with it, of course. The other things, utilities, she paid $100 for the heating bill.
Mr. Bambino, how do you think Miss Smoot knew that you didn't pay your utility bills and that you didn't pay your rent? How do you think?
By communicating
By you
with
telling
me.
her. And it was that kind of casual conversation that inspired her to leave the $1,200 on the table for you?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was at that time that you were concerned about her bizarre behavior that she exhibited 6 or 7 times.
Over that 6-month frame, yes.
Now, you were a corrections officer for 15 years, sir. You knew that there were certain prisoners that were dangerous,
Sure.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you were dealing with a dangerous prisoner, there were certain protocols. You made sure that you didn't put yourself in harm's way. That was your training, right?
Absolutely.
So here you're dealing with a lunatic, somebody who over the course of 6 or 7 months is doing crazy, bizarre things. So instead of cutting it off, you know where the courthouse is. So if you know if somebody is stalking you, somebody is annoying you, you go to the courthouse and you say, this person is stalking me, annoying me, I need a protective order. Instead, you had somebody stalking you, you took their money. No. You took their money. I didn't say loan, I didn't say gift, I said you took their money. Well, you did, you just told me that, Mr. Bambino. You told me she was stalking you, harassing you, doing all kinds of bizarre things, and she put $1,200 down on the table, and she paid your bills, and you took it. That's what you just told me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have to be a nice man, Mr. Bambino.
A very nice man.
No, you're not. If she's a nut, what you're supposed to do is not be a cad.
And later today...
Did you say to your daughter, listen, you did me a favor, I'll take care of getting the car inspected, tagged. Did you say that to her?
No,
That's what a mother does. That's what a mother does.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tina Smoot claims ex-boyfriend John Bambino owes for a loan to help with his living expenses. John is countersuing for harassment and claims Tina intentionally damaged his property.
Okay. Now, it is your claim, Mr. Bambino, your counterclaim, that the plaintiff damaged your property, harassed you, and damaged your clothing. You want to tell me when that happened and where?
Yeah, first week in November, Tina was going to North Carolina for a wedding.
And when did she give you the money, sir?
December.
On a sympathy scale, sir, of 1 to 10, this is about going to be a -5, because what you're going to tell me is that she, again, acted like a nut, but you took money from her the next month, right?
Yes.
Keep going.
She told me she would let me borrow her Jeep. I dropped off my friend's automobile that I was using at the time, which was a female friend of mine for 18 years. Tina, in the process, went in the glove box and found out who the car belonged to. She took a pen and ripped the whole roof of the inside of the car, ripped the leather on the seats, took a soda and threw it all over my clothes in the back. That's the incident in November.
Why did you do that, Tina?
I didn't go to that extreme.
What did you... Tina.
What happened?
Why did you do it?
I didn't do that, Your Honor.
Yes, you did. You did some of it.
I called him and told him to bring my Jeep.
What did you do to the stuff in the car?
I poured soda on his clothes, that was all.
You poured soda on his clothes. Is there a police report with regard to the damage to this friend's car?
No, ma'am, but I have pictures.
It's not your car.
It's not my car.
Did you fix the car?
Not yet.
Then you're not the person who can file this claim against Miss Smoot. That would be the car owner.
Yes, ma'am.
And as far as throwing soda on your clothes?
So what?
You owe her $1,480. You have to be a nice man, Mr. Bambino.
I'm a very nice man.
No, you're not. If she's a nut, you're not supposed to take advantage of people who are not balanced. If you actually believe that Miss Smoot is not balanced, then what you're supposed to do is not be a cad and take advantage of her financially. You're supposed to say, I don't want your money. I don't want it as a gift. I don't want it as a loan. I don't want you in my life. I don't want that at all because I don't think you're balanced. I think that you should take this money and use it well by going to see a doctor who will maybe give you some medication to help you feel better. Instead, what you did is you took advantage of her because you're not a nice person. Nice people don't take advantage of sick people. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,480. Your counterclaims dismissed. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was all a big joke. To him, anyhow.
That's totally not the case. It's totally not the case.
She thinks that something's going on between us. We're just co-workers. She's a little insane. She needs some medicine.
That's what she thinks.
I feel bad because she's not a bad person. She's got 2 beautiful daughters.
First of all, I don't have 2 daughters. I have a daughter and a son.
I'm not going to date women ever again.
I will never let anybody take advantage of me again.
I'm going to do a background check and, do what I got to do.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Breeden versus Strybee. Step forward, please.
23-year-old Michelle Breeden is suing her mother, Ollie Strybee, for breaking their agreement regarding the sale of a home. Michelle says Ollie kept proceeds that were supposed to go to her.
Ms. Breeden, the defendant is your mother. You and your husband and child or children?
2 children.
2 children. Moved into a home that your mother bought, and the idea was that you would live there with an option to buy it. At such time when your credit became substantial enough for you to get a mortgage and your finances sort of settled down, While you were living there, you claimed that you made certain improvements in the house, invested close to $4,000. And then, according to you, your mother decided that since the housing market had taken off, she was no longer interested in selling you the house at the price that she had paid for it, which was your agreement. But she wanted to sell it on the open market, which she did at a profit, and you believe that she should pay you for the money that you invested in improving the house.
Yes, sure.
That's the lawsuit.
Yes.
Your mother says that you and your husband, was it your husband, separated. You were no longer interested in purchasing the house. You moved out. She did, in fact, sell the house at a profit, but it is her claim that you were the one who told her, I can't buy the house anymore because we're separated. So she sold the house to somebody else. When did you purchase this house, Miss Strybee?
In April 2004.
And how much did you pay for it?
$102,500.
And what was the financial arrangement with your daughter with regard to how much rent she was going to pay?
She agreed to pay the mortgage payment on the house.
Which was how much, Miss Breeden?
It was just shy of $900, Your Honor.
Okay. I'd like you to tell me when you were advised by your mother that she was planning on selling the house.
I was advised about 6 months prior to moving out that she was going to sell the house because she was no longer interested in selling us the house at what she paid for it. She was interested in making a profit off of us and wanted to sell the home to us for nearly $160,000.
That wasn't the original
Just a
agreement.
second. Did you discuss that with your mother? You said you found out. Did you have a conversation with her?
Yes, I had a conversation with Ollie. I told her that I couldn't make payments on $160,000, so we decided that we were no longer going to buy it because she wanted so much more for it.
Okay. Now, what was your arrangement with your mother at the time she purchased the house?
When she purchased the house, she was going to let us move into it. We were going to cover the mortgage for 1 year, and then after 1 year, we were going to try to get our finances in a situation that we could get appropriate financing.
And what happened in 2005?
Right after my second child was born, we went in to get a mortgage. It was not satisfactory. We discussed renting it longer from her. That was fine with her. A couple months into 2005, she was trying to buy another home for herself, so she discussed selling the home if we could not buy it from her. I said, well, we've already put nearly $4,000 worth of our own money into it, and if you sold it, I would at least like to get that money back out of it to use as a down payment if we chose to move somewhere else. That was fine with her. We moved out the end of February, and she put the house on the market in March. It took her till November 1st to sell the home.
Gotcha.
When she sold the home, I came to her halfway through November, and she said something about she didn't want to discuss it through the holidays, so I came back to her at the beginning of January of 2007. By that time, she said that she didn't have the money and that she thought that since she had to pay the mortgage from the time we moved out to the time it sold, that she believed she no longer owed us the amount that we were asking for.
Gotcha. Okay. Now we'll hear you.
Michelle and her husband were expecting their second child and living in a hotel. And although Michelle and my husband doesn't get along very well, I didn't want them to be living in a hotel when the second child.
So you made
we
this
bought
arrangement.
this house for them.
Got it.
The arrangement was that she would pay the mortgage payment for the year.
I got it so far. There are certain things that are not contested. You were a nice mom, bought the house, let them live in it, covered the mortgage payment, and then there came a time when you wanted to buy another house. You couldn't buy another house because you already had this house. So let's go.
The arrangement was for her to buy the house at the end of a year. I told her I'd give her a year.
She
So
said that.
at the end of that year, she didn't have her finances
Got it.
fixed.
Got it. That's what she said.
So her husband had moved out. She said that she couldn't afford to make the payments anymore with him paying for someplace else to live, and that she was fine with me going ahead and putting the house on the market, and that they would move out. Our original agreement for the year was at the end of the year, if I sold her the house, I would credit her how much she's paid for the mortgage, so that would cover her 10% down she needed to buy it herself.
I'm talking about the $3,900 that your daughter says you discussed at the time she moved out, that she had invested in improving the house, and that you had said to her, the time when the house is sold, I'll give that back to you.
I don't remember that conversation, not when she was moving out. I only discussed with her when we first bought the house that any improvements she made in the house at that time, if she didn't buy the house, I would pay her back for it at the end of the year.
Oh, fine. So that discussion was had. Fine. Let me see what you put into the house. How much did you sell the house for, Ms. Strybee?
$140,000. $1,995.
Okay. What did you tile?
We tiled about 1,000 square feet, the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, both bathrooms, and a hallway. The only thing in the house that wasn't tiled was the 3 bedrooms.
She bought the tile and I put it down.
It's fine. You got the profit. How much did you clear, Miss Strybey?
Altogether, we probably made about $20,000 off the house.
Okay.
And I did give her, during this period when we were selling the house, they had repossessed her van and she had no transportation. So I signed over my 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee to her.
That agreement for that Jeep has nothing at all to do with the home. My first child, I gave up to adoption within this period of time. And I was going to give it to a couple that was in Miami that I did not know. And she came to me and said that since I did not have a car, that if I gave my child to her friends, she would give me the car, and her friends are very good people. But that was the agreement for the Jeep, and that has nothing at all to do with this home.
That's not true. I would never offer to sell my grandchild. That was what he needed, because he had already been taken out of her possession once and placed with me for custody.
How old is he?
He's 6. He's 2 weeks younger than my 6-year-old. I have a 6-year-old as well. And during this period, which is why the husband moved out, is because he was taken away from them and put in my custody.
This still has nothing to do with the house, Your Honor.
It did, and that was the point where she couldn't afford to make the payments anymore.
Where is your husband now?
My husband right now is in Cocoa, Florida.
Do you live with him?
No, I do not.
Who do you live with?
I live with 2 roommates, and I cover 1/3 of the rent. My friend Lisa and her husband cover 1/3 of the rent, and then my brother-in-law and his wife cover the other 1/3 of the rent.
Are you still married?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
This arrangement just happened within the last few weeks because her husband's been in jail.
At the time that you were living in this house, who was working, you or your husband?
My husband was working, and I owned my own business.
What kind of business?
It was a children's consignment shop.
That I helped her open.
So you were both working?
Yes.
So whatever money you invested in the house, you would only be entitled to half of this. Is that right? The other half would be your husband's?
Yes, Your Honor, if you want to look, yes, that would be correct.
Okay. Do you think your mother has been reasonable or unreasonable with you?
I think my mother has been selfish and incapable of being a mother.
In the relatively short time, Ms. Strybey, that I have to spend with you, I'm never going to be able to figure out the pathology of your family.
Mm-hmm.
But it clearly seems to me that your daughter, whether rightfully or wrongfully, labors under the assumption that you had an agreement, which I find to be potentially a valid agreement, that whatever improvements they put into the house that might inure to your benefit when you sold the house, you would reimburse her for if the house wasn't sold to them. That's a reasonable expectation. And truth is, you sold the house for a profit. And if it were me, I would have said, you know what? She's not in great shape. Let me give her what she put into it and let her move on. That's what I would have done.
I did offer, when she started looking for another home right away, I went out with her, and I was more than willing to help her find another home. And if she at some point in the future, was going to buy one, her father and I had already discussed, we would each pay half the deposit. I've given her lots of money.
I assume that's true.
But I've always made her pay me back, and I think she's very ungrateful.
Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1950, which represents 1/2 of the amount that you invested in the house. The other half is not your claim, belongs to your husband.
Okay.
Got it? Good. Thank you. That's all.
Parties are excused when they step out.
I've been given a mother who's incapable of loving me, yet comes off as trying to be this star person, and she's not.
Michelle has a lot of anger issues over me divorcing her father when her and her brother were young.
She wouldn't have been able to sell that house for what she did if we had made the improvements to it.
I've helped her with every apartment, every bill, every vehicle.
She claimed that she didn't have the money to give me back that we put into the home, but then she instead, that same exact month, went out and dropped $5,000 on a jacuzzi, another $5,000 on breast augmentation. So that apparently ranks higher in the scheme of her life than her daughter.
I don't think I owe her any explanation for what we do with our finances.
Maybe a last chance effort of getting some type of recognition from her.
I understand where she's coming from.
I've forgiven her over a course of a lifetime for the things that she's done, but I would have to be very stupid to accept her back into my life.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Paradeza versus McQuay Jackson, step forward, please.
18-year-old Jenny Paradeza is suing schoolmates Samuel and Stephen McQuay and their mother, Evelyn Jackson. Jenny claims the boys stole her school backpack.
You can sit down.
Thank you.
Miss Paradeza,
Yes, Your Honor.
you're a high school student?
Yes, that's correct.
According to your complaint, you had some trouble with your car one day in school, and security guard was helping you out, getting it started, and you put your book bag and your valuables down on the ground.
Yeah.
And your property was stolen. And it is your claim that the defendants and others were responsible for taking your property, and you want the value of the property that was taken and a little bit extra to punish them.
Correct.
The defendants, while they acknowledge that they were there, say that they didn't take the property and they're not responsible. When was your property taken?
It was October 3rd.
And it was at the school?
It was during lunch.
And where had you left your book bag?
It was on the sidewalk in our parking lot.
Why didn't you take the book bag and put it in your car?
Well, after I figured out that my car wasn't starting, I panicked, so I put my stuff on the floor. I wasn't even
Well, I
thinking
understand
about
that
the
you put your stuff on the floor. It would have been smarter to take your stuff instead of putting it on the floor,
Yeah,
putting it in your car,
Mhm.
right? Okay. Now, when did you find that it was missing?
After I turned off my engine, I went back and looked on the sidewalk, and it wasn't there.
Good. Now, what makes you believe that these two young men had anything to do with taking
Well,
your bag?
After I had told the security guard that my stuff was stolen, they took me back to their office, and we went over the surveillance cameras that are in the parking lot, and it showed my backpack on the floor, and then it showed that after the boys had passed my backpack, it was gone.
And these two boys were in that group?
Yes, they were.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Gentlemen,
Yes, ma'am.
what's your name?
Sam McQuay, Jr. Stephen McQuay.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Better. Who was with you that day when you passed this backpack?
My friend Jonte and Antoine and Eric.
Who took the bag?
My friend Antoine.
And what did he do with the bag after he took it?
He ran to the second floor to the bathroom
How do you know that?
because I was right outside the bathroom when he took it.
Who else was outside the bathroom door?
Me and my brother.
So you were looking out.
No.
You were the
no, Your Honor.
lookouts?
No.
How big is the school? How big is the school?
Big.
How many floors?
3.
And how many rooms on each floor?
Don't know.
How many kids go to the school?
Don't know.
More than 500?
Yes, Your Honor.
So there are lots of classrooms. So you mean it's just coincidental that after Antoine took the bag and went to the bathroom, you happened to be standing outside the same bathroom?
I was with him when he took the backpack, then we went to the second floor together.
We? Good. We took the backpack. He physically had the backpack, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But the word that you used was we. We took the backpack. Isn't that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
This is your mom?
Yes.
So glad that you brought them. You know why I'm glad that you brought them, Miss Jackson?
Why is that?
Because he actually thought that he was going to be able to fool me. He actually did.
No, I didn't, actually.
Well, I read your answer, and your answer said you didn't have anything to do with this.
I didn't. I was with my friends at the time.
No, you just said to me, we took the backpack. And then we went to the second floor. You and your brother stood outside the bathroom door, acting, now I'm going to use the word, because you didn't, look out. Now, in a school where there are probably 1,000 students, 3 floors, the fact that you serendipitously wound up standing outside the bathroom door while your friend Antoine and Jonte were inside going through the backpack is something that I don't buy. It wasn't an accident that you were outside the bathroom making sure nobody was coming in while they were rummaging through her backpack. It was an on purpose. So it doesn't make any difference who it was that actually had their hand on the backpack. You were all involved in taking it and making sure that the rightful owner didn't get it back. That's what it means when you act as a lookout.
We weren't a lookout, Your Honor. We was
No.
talking to some friends. We weren't looking out. We didn't have
Just
nothing,
talking to some friends outside the same bathroom where Antoine was going through the backpack.
because that's where they were.
Just listen to my statement, sir. Just coincidentally, you went from the street where Antoine took the backpack, followed him to the bathroom. He went into the bathroom to check out the backpack. and you were standing outside talking to some friends. It would seem to me if you had nothing to do with this taking of the backpack, you would want to get as far away from Antoine as possible.
And that's exactly why we went to the gym.
No, your brother just told me you were standing outside the bathroom.
After we were standing at the bathroom for a minute, we went to the gym. And then they left out and went to the lunchroom.
How do you know they left and went to the lunchroom?
Because we seen them that day, just after that day.
No. Let's see what you say here. Let's see what you say here. Sam. Who's Sam?
That's me.
That would be you. I followed the guys all the way up to the second floor hallway. The other kids took the bag in the bathroom. My brother and I stayed in the hall near the bathroom only because we ran into a friend. The kids came out of the bathroom with an identification card and the backpack and threw it in the trash. No one had any money. That's not, we just stayed there and then we went out and we didn't see them come out of the bathroom. We just found out about it in the lunchroom. You say, Sam, that you saw them come out of the bathroom with an identification card and the backpack and threw it in the trash. Were you lying here?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little different story than you just told me, young man. You think you're smarter than I am? Never in your life. Never in your life. If you live to be 104, will you be smarter than I am this day?
I will. Maybe so, Your Honor.
You will?
Yeah. Maybe so.
Never happen. Never.
How would you know?
Because you're there and I'm here. That's how I know.
That's what you think.
That's how. Because you're there and I'm here. That's because in 5 minutes I was able to catch you so far in 2 lies. Not 1, but 2.
Tell me those 2 lies.
Listen, it's not my job to tell you. I'll give you a copy of the tape, sir. You can go home and watch it yourself. Then you can kick yourself in the behind with your own foot. You're responsible, just as if you took the backpack.
Okay.
You are responsible for standing outside that bathroom and acting as a lookout while your friends rummaged through it. And if they had come up with a whole bunch of money, they would have given you some of it.
The point is, Your Honor, we didn't take nothing.
I'm not speaking to you. Close your mouth until I talk to you. How much was your backpack worth?
Well, everything that was stolen was about $750.
Like what? Give me what was stolen.
My wallet.
What was in your wallet?
It was $50.
Okay.
I had to replace all my IDs. I had gift cards in there, my earpiece, and a calculator.
There was no earpiece in there, ma'am.
I love it. I love it. Judge him for the plaintiff for the amount of $500. That's what I think it's worth, madam. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
There were some things that they said that I would have done the same thing that Judge Judy did.
I think it was good. I'm not worried about anything because I have everything.
I mean, they got caught in a couple lies.
The security guard had talked to 2 of the boys.
They didn't want to take the ID and money. We didn't take nothing. The reason I said the earpiece because Jonte and Antoine told me what was in the backpack.
They obviously knew, what had happened.
I didn't have nothing to do with it. Why should I feel bad for somebody else?
I don't know any of them. Until today, I don't even know what they look like.
Next time they see somebody doing something wrong, don't be with them while they're doing it. Walk away. Just don't be involved.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Matthews versus Hadsall. Step forward, please.
24-year-old Thomas Matthews is suing his ex-fiancée, 29-year-old Janice Hadsall, for the return of the engagement ring. Janice claims she sold the ring to pay bills.
Mr. Matthews, according to your complaint, you and the defendant became engaged.
Yes, ma'am.
You bought her a ring. You were supposed to move into a new townhouse.
Yes.
So far, that's correct. Is that right?
No. Thomas and I had never gotten engaged.
According to your complaint, you bought her an engagement ring.
Yes.
And you wanted to move into a townhouse. In order to do that, you had to break your lease. And you paid the bills to do that, to break the lease.
Yes.
So that you could move into this new townhouse together.
Yes.
After you paid those bills, you found out that Miss Hadsall was sort of friendly with her ex-husband again. Are you now living in the townhouse, sir?
Yes.
And is living in the townhouse with the ex-husband, which was facilitated through your paying the bills to get her out of her old lease.
Correct.
That's
so
not
you
true.
want 2 things. You want the engagement ring back, and you want the bills that you paid.
Yes.
Let's talk about the ring first.
Okay.
You have it?
No, I don't.
Where is it?
Well, when Thomas and I was supposed to move in the townhome, he agreed to help me with the bills and the utilities and stuff like that. When he and I had split up or broken up, that I had to sell not only that ring, but some other items that I had for
I don't believe
my
you.
bills.
I think you're a liar. I think you just didn't bring it because you didn't want to give it to me. That's what I think. How much was the ring?
$2,069.56.
Describe it to me.
It was white gold. I believe it was 1.5 carats.
You have the bill for it?
Yes.
Well, that's what Kay Jewelers calls it, an engagement ring. And Kay Jewelers doesn't lie. Talk and talk fast.
We had started dating. We moved into an apartment together. We didn't like the apartment that we had gotten. He and I had some problems. We decided that after we were going to move out of the apartment together, that we went ahead and split up, and he moved out immediately into his parents' home. We had talked about, before we moved into the townhome, possibly getting back together. The day after we got back together, he told me to meet him at the apartment, that he had a gift for me. When he showed up at my place, he gave me the ring. And I told him, you do understand that we just got back together, that we're not getting engaged. He said, that's fine. He had asked me, when do you think would be a good time to get engaged? And I told him, not even for a year from now.
You're
And
not
he
a
said that
nice
was
person.
fine.
You're not a nice person. Because whether you said it or not, bottom line is, you're old enough to know what an engagement ring looks like. And if you accept it, and if later you go back to your ex-husband, you be a nice person, and you give him back his ring so he doesn't feel like a fool. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Sometimes in a relationship, you are either the dumper or the dumpee. You got dumped on. The second part of your claim is that you got dumped on because you paid the bills to get her out of a lease so that she could move into a place that she really liked. And she did move into a place she really liked, only not with you. That's something that's not nice, but it's not something that's actionable in a court.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
When you filed for divorce against ex-husband, were you the plaintiff or defendant?
The plaintiff.
And what did you allege in the action for divorce? Don't say You remember. What were the grounds for divorce?
He had an alcohol problem.
So he was abusive?
Not physically abusive, mentally abusive.
He was abusive, right?
Yes.
Because when you have an alcohol problem, you're not only abusive to you, you're abusive to your children, right?
Not technically.
Oh, not technically.
No.
No. How do you think I'm so smart? You think he doesn't have an alcohol problem now?
No.
You don't think that?
No, I don't.
And you brought him back into the lives of your children.
Yes, I did.
That makes you doubly stupid. But that's your prerogative. Meanwhile, you owe him $2,070 for the engagement ring since it's not here. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You can step out.
I think she was not very understanding at all.
I just wanted to get my stuff back and be done with her.
Thomas had to buy people's love and affection.
I don't need to buy affection. I have a lot of people who love me and a lot of friends.
This is his way of getting back at me.
It's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. Being done with her and moving on with my life.
Bail bondsman Aaron McAllister is suing former client Elena Zadevich for unpaid bail money. Elena says Aaron was supposed to let her work off the bond.
Order, all rise.
Your Honor, this is case number 483 on the calendar in the matter of McAllister versus Zadevich.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
What were you arrested for, Mr. Davidge?
I was arrested on false charges of domestic violence that my ex filed against me.
I didn't ask you whether they were true or not true. I asked, what were you arrested for?
I was arrested on allegations of domestic violence.
Was it the first time you were arrested?
Yes.
Look at me. Was
Yes.
it the first time you were arrested? The answer is either yes or no.
No.
Better. When was the first time you were arrested?
Several years ago.
Having nothing to do with domestic violence.
Has something to do with domestic violence.
So you have 2 arrests for domestic violence?
That's correct.
Was it the same complainant in each case?
Different.
Different. Okay. You are a bail bondsman?
Yes, Your Honor.
It is your claim that you received a call from the defendant in jail. You responded. You bailed her out of jail. At her request, she promised to pay for the bond. She did not. You want your money.
Yes.
Defendant says you're a sleazy bail bondsman and she's not paying you.
Correct.
When did you receive the call?
Sometime in the middle of the night from the county jail.
What night? I'm not Karnak. What night would
I'm
you
sorry.
like to tell me it is?
July the 15th.
In the middle of the night. You were home?
Correct. In bed.
How did you get his number?
It was posted on the wall in the county jail.
You have your home number posted in the wall in county jail?
No, ma'am. It's an office number that forwards to my cell phone in the evening and weekends.
I see. I wouldn't think that you'd want your house phone
No.
to have a number. Okay. What did the defendant say to you when she called?
That she was in jail and she had to get out. She had to get to work the next morning. If she didn't get out, she would lose her job.
What kind of job do you have?
I'm an executive assistant.
For whom?
For a small media startup.
How long have you had that job?
Close to a year.
10 months?
Something like that.
Where did you work before?
I was managing a medical spa.
Where?
Walnut Creek, California.
Okay. Have any family here?
Just my 2 children.
How old are they?
6 and 2.
They live with you?
Part-time.
Who do they live with the other part of the time?
Well, my son lives with his dad, and my daughter part-time lives with her paternal family.
Maternal or paternal?
Paternal.
Paternal. So the father's family, father's parents with her grandparents?
No, his brother and his family, they live very close by, about 10-minute drive from where I live, and she's there a lot because I work full-time.
Okay. So you had to get to work at the media startup company when you called him?
Correct.
Did you tell him that you were going to take care of paying his bail?
What happened was I told him that I didn't have any money.
No. When you called him on the phone from jail, you told him I don't have any money?
Correct.
Is that right?
No.
Of course not.
Right. I wouldn't.
Of course not, because if you tell you, please bail me out of jail, but I don't have any money, and he doesn't know you from a hole in the wall, he's not getting out of his warm bed in the middle of the night. Madam.
Well, he did.
No. He did. The question was, did you tell him that you didn't have any money?
Yes, I did.
He says you didn't, and I'm saying I believe him that at that time you didn't tell him I have no money. Because if he's in business and he gets a call from a stranger, you are a stranger, right?
Correct.
That I want you to get up out of bed, drive over to the jail and bail me out. But by the way, I have no money. He'd say, call somebody else.
That's exactly what I said.
All right. I don't believe you. Go ahead.
We discussed that she had a CD, and the CD was maturing within the next 30 days, and that there would be ample
That you would
money,
have money.
correct, in the CD to pay me out of the proceeds of the CD. And she didn't want to cash it in early because she didn't want to pay the penalty. I agreed to those terms within 30 days that she would use the CD.
Was this on the telephone?
That was on the telephone.
Okay. Because you did ask her the question about money.
Correct.
And when you said, do you have money, what did she say?
I have a CD.
Okay. So, did you tell her how much the bail would be?
Correct. 10%, $5,000.
Because she had $50,000 bail?
Correct.
That's a high bail for domestic violence.
It is.
Do you know why it was so high?
That's per the schedule in that county. That's always $50,000 for a felony charge.
It was a felony.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So we get her out. We memorialize our agreement in writing. She
Can I
signs
see it,
a
please?
bail contract and the agreement to pay.
Can I see it, please? Okay, so you signed an agreement to pay him the $5,000.
I had no choice. He made me sign it.
But
Madam,
listen to me very carefully, madam. You have a choice. Your choice is to stay in jail until the matter on which you were arrested for is tried. That's your choice. You chose.
We had a different agreement.
No. This is your agreement. This in here is your agreement, in the four corners of this agreement. And what I asked you was, did you sign this agreement? And the answer is either yes or no. Not
yes,
I was forced to sign it.
I did sign that agreement, but aside from that, there was an oral agreement that took place between me and Mr. McAllister.
I'll get to you in a minute.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Once the agreement's signed, I get her out of jail. She says, now what do? I live 30 minutes from here. I agreed to give her a ride. She's worried about getting to work, so I give her a ride. And it's about 30 minutes away. So during that time, she tells me the entire story about the arrest, and I attempt to be understanding that, she was arrested, and I'm sorry, and that's a bad thing, and you're dealing with a breakup, and, how she caught her boyfriend with his new girlfriend laying on the couch that she paid for or she picked out. And the entire time in the car,
Would you look at me when you're telling me this story, Mr. McAllister? Look at me. Don't look down there.
Sorry. The entire time in the car, she says, I'm not a stalker, I'm not a stalker. I go, okay, sorry, you're not a stalker. No problem. Okay, I'll get you to your vehicle. Well, the vehicle's parked 3 blocks away from the house where she was living or where she was arrested. So there's obviously something going on there. Anyway, I get her out, she signs the agreement, and she refuses to pay me.
Just a second. When did she sign the agreement?
Immediately upon release from the county jail.
Okay. And then you drove her to her car.
Correct.
And you dropped her off at her car.
Yes.
And she never paid you.
Right. I made
When
repeated
for the first time did you contact her with regard to payment?
Well, within 10 days, we sent her an invoice, just a reminder of the payment terms, and sent her 4 or 5 subsequent invoices that went answered with these rambling letters talking about...
Do you have a copy of the letters?
I do.
Can I see them, please? Based upon our discussion, these are your words, when he initially asked you for your money. Based upon our discussion, it was my understanding that we would discuss my opportunity to provide some type of service to you and your business in lieu of paying you $5,000 for a relatively risk-free, as you put it, bond. I am still awaiting the opportunity to make good on my offer to work for your company. As you were advised at the time the bond was posted, I have not, or do not have now, $5,000 fee that you are demanding. Given the above-mentioned discussions that we had at the time of the unsecured bond was posted, I now consider your correspondence demanding $5,000 to be intimidating and threatening. What are you, crazy?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
On the way to my vehicle, he makes comments about my physical appearance, and he says, a pretty woman like you, maybe we can work something out.
And later today...
What's wrong with you? Don't you have any pride at all?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is it? Show me. Where is it?
I left it at the house.
Right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Bail bondsman Aaron McAllister says former client Elena Zadevich owes for unpaid bail money.
Please do not send me any more threatening letters. You knew my financial predicament at the time bail was posted. I still intend to honor my promise to perform professional services for you. You never promised to perform professional services for him. Your own letter says, it was my understanding that we would discuss my opportunity to provide some type of service to you or your business in lieu of paying for the bond. Given the above-mentioned discussions that we had at the time, I now consider your... Discussions aren't a contract, madam.
Let me tell you what happened.
Yeah,
because he's not telling you the whole truth. What happened, he bails me out.
Are you, just a second, are you telling me the whole truth? Listen, are you telling me the whole truth?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
About your children's living arrangements, you're telling me the whole truth?
We're not talking about my children right now. I want to tell you.
You mean you're telling the truth? Listen to me.
happened.
You're telling the truth sometimes, and sometimes you can lie. And when am I supposed to tell the difference? You see, I knew that you were lying to me about your children's living situation. That you're not willing to discuss.
What did I lie about?
Listen to me. My question to you is, how am I supposed to tell when you're lying, and how am I supposed to tell when you're telling the truth?
I do tell the truth.
But you just lied to me today.
About what?
You lied about your children's living situation.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
How did I lie?
Oh, yes, you did. And you know you did. You know that they live with me part-time, they live with some part-time, they live here because I work. That's not the story. But that's a story you chose to tell me. Now, you told me that with the same veracity as you told me that you had another contract with him. And my question to you is, how am I supposed to tell when you're telling the truth and when you're lying?
What I'm saying is the truth.
Okay. Now I'm going to hear you, and then I'll tell you what the law is.
Okay. Well, he bails me out. He drives me to my vehicle. On the way to my vehicle, he makes comments about my physical appearance, and he says, well, it would be nice if a pretty woman like you worked for my company, doing some sort of marketing and promoting my company, and maybe we can work something out in terms of paying for the bail bond that he posted on my behalf. So when he dropped me off by my vehicle, and before he left, he made me sign the agreement that you saw after we had the conversation of me potentially working for his company.
Did you get what you said to me, madam? You just said to me, maybe you could work for my company. Maybe you could work for my company.
And
that's not an agreement.
No,
that's not. No. After that, nothing. You took that, and I believe that you said that to her. Well, maybe you could work for my company and do something. Maybe you said it to her. Who cares? It's not relevant. There was no
I
contract.
said I couldn't work for him full time as he proposed.
It doesn't.
So he
No,
said,
madam.
We can work something out, and you can work for me on weekends.
Your Honor.
Oh, listen to me. Listen to me. You're making it up as you're going along.
No.
Yes.
No, I have
you are
a
because
letter.
according to what you said to me, after you had that discussion, after, not before. You see, he said you signed this at the jail.
No.
You say I signed it after I had the discussion with him about working with him part-time, weekends, etc. If that was true, that's not contained in this agreement.
No.
And I believe, madam, that you are one smart cookie. And if he had this conversation with you where you made a contract with him, a contract that's enforceable, to work off the bail bond by working for him part-time, you would have put it in this agreement because you were already out of jail. So then you could either say to him, I'm not signing this, or you say, it's not the entire agreement that we have, but you didn't. You signed it and said, I promise to pay you $5,000.
Well, he told me right there that if you don't sign it, I'm just going to put you right back to jail. That's what he told me.
I don't believe you. You're making it up as you're going along.
No.
You're making it up as you're going along because if he said to you, you sign this or I'm going to take you back to jail.
That's what he said?
Your response would have been, well, then put in our agreement that I could work it off, right? Right?
I was very stressed.
Oh, listen, it's not the first time you were arrested.
Signing.
That's why I asked you the question before.
And
It's not the first time. It's probably not the second time that you were arrested. So pay him his money. You owe him his money. Don't be a con artist. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I've offered to either work for his company
My family's been in business over 40 years,
in lieu of paying for the services.
and it didn't come from having criminal defendants work in my office.
It was his offer initially.
It's a bad deal. I'm sorry she had to go through what she went through,
So he reneged on the original agreement.
but I performed a service and I need to be compensated.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Schulteis versus Britton, step forward, please.
20-year-old Lisa Schulteis is suing her former friend, 20-year-old Kelly Britton, for the money she paid to go on a 2-day cruise to the Bahamas.
Tell me your first name.
My name is Lisa Schulteis. Kelly.
You two gals used to be friends, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
And at some point, Kelly, you lived with Lisa and her family?
Yes, over the summer.
How long had you been friends?
We've been friends since 5th grade. About 10 years.
This is your lawsuit. Kelly was getting married.
Yes.
And she prepaid non-refundable tickets, allegedly, for her honeymoon. And that was going to be where?
The cruise was going to the Bahamas, Nassau.
And that was for you and your fiancé.
Yes.
And when the wedding sort of went off, you asked her if she wanted to go.
Yes.
Because these were non-refundable tickets. She said yes. And according to you, you paid her the $600
Yes.
for the ticket. Then you had a fight, and you said, I'm not going, and I want my money back. Now, Ms. Britton says two things. She said, first, you only gave her $200, and second, you decided not to go. That doesn't mean you get your money back, because ultimately, you did go on the trip,
Yes.
but you went with your mother. Other than the fact that you say that you gave her $600, is there any proof that you gave her $600?
I actually bought a 18-foot diameter swim pool. It's $268 and something change. I decided a month later that I did not want the swim pool anymore, that I would take it and use it towards the trip. So I took the swim pool back and I handed the money to Kelly right in front of my mom. I counted $270.
Okay, so that's $270.
Yes.
That's not $600.
I also, well, my mom was there that night.
So far I have $270.
I have proof if you'd like to see the receipts.
Receipts from what?
From the swim pool.
I believe the swim pool. I believe the swim pool. The swim pool is $270. That's not $600.
Yes.
I'm a witness to some of it.
Are you the witness to anything other than the $270?
Yes.
Yes, she is.
Stand up. You're her mother?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
I seen Lisa give her first payment. She come home and she handed her $70, the first payment. The second payment that I seen her give her was $60. And then the deal with the pool, it totaled like $400 I seen her.
You weren't there when she gave me the pool money, Donna.
Yes, I was.
But she gave you the pool money.
The last
And
part of
Zach
it.
was there
Well,
when he
just a
gave her the
second.
last of it. Zach seen her
Okay,
give him
sit down.
$95.
Ma'am, Honor, the last payment was $95. Zach, the witness, was over at my house that night. They were fighting. I came home from work. I handed Kelly the money. She told me I finished paying off the trip money, that we were pretty much ready to go. It was a week later we got into a fight, and I kicked her out July 21st.
Okay, $95 when?
That was July 10th, 2006. It was
And
a
when was
Monday.
the trip scheduled for?
August 5th.
Were you there that night, sir?
Yes, I was.
Good. That's all I asked you. Now, you had a fight. And ordinarily, because you had a fight with her less than 2 weeks before this trip,
Yes.
I would say, well, you decided not to go. You don't get the money back. However, Kelly, you took your mother.
Yes.
Why didn't your mother pay you?
My mother ended up paying me the other $200 that Lisa did not pay me.
That's not
Well,
right.
shh. Miss Britton, you're fibbing. Either you're fibbing here or you're fibbing now. Because your answer says she only gave you $200, which means she owed you $400. And you just said to me, my mother gave me the $200 that she didn't give me, which means she gave you $400.
No, ma'am.
Were you just confused?
No, in my answer it says I told Lisa that since it was such short notice, it was only 2 months before the trip was even scheduled, that she could just pay me $400 because I know that, you know, she was just starting out her new career and she did not make a lot of money.
No, that's not correct.
Shh, don't speak now. Let me tell you something. Your mother should have taken care of it, madam. Your mother doesn't get to go on a free trip.
It wasn't completely free for her.
Shouldn't be free at all. This is the fiancé. I assume you're back together with him?
Yes.
He should have paid for it.
I originally did.
Then if you backed out and say, listen, sweetheart, we're not a team anymore, keep the money, find somebody to go with you. But you don't take him who backed out and your mother who went on the trip and charge her for the trip. That's ridiculous. Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $495. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's mad because her boyfriend's a liar and she wants to blame me for it.
She was trying to get my boyfriend a drink.
They was trying to get me to drink moonshine.
She got mad about it and she came home in a rage and blamed me.
They were trying to get him to chew tobacco, and I got mad about it.
She woke me up at 1:30 in the morning screaming at me.
They told him, don't worry, we won't tell Lisa.
You're trying to break me and my boyfriend up. What are you doing? You're supposed to be my friend.
She just lied to me way too much.
They say what goes around comes around. Someday she'll get paid.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Torres versus Briley. Step forward.
Music producer Clifton Torres is suing the mother of his children, Brandy Briley, for destroying his music equipment. Brandy claims the equipment was broken prior to the incident in question.
Mr. Torres, you and Miss Briley had a relationship, according to what I read, and I assume that you lived together for a period of time. It is your claim that a year ago she ruined some of your musical equipment. You want her to pay so that you can purchase new equipment.
That's correct.
Miss Briley said that while the equipment that you are complaining about was in fact tossed over during this altercation, the altercation occurred because you pushed her and the equipment wasn't working so well to begin with. I have a few questions. You have children?
Yes, 2.
Are they your children together?
Yes.
How old are they?
2 and 5.
Who do they live with?
They live with me.
And how long have they lived with you? Alone?
Alone?
Without the defendant?
I guess approximately a year, maybe a little less.
Did they live with you, Mr. Torres, pursuant to a court order?
Yes.
Was there a contested custody proceeding?
No.
Ms. Briley agreed for you to care for the children.
Correct.
Now tell me the date of this incident with your music equipment, please.
It was November 21st, and I came home from work. It was 5:30.
What kind of work were you doing?
At the time, I was working at a construction warehouse.
Could you keep your voice up, Mr. Torres?
I was working at a construction warehouse, and I came home at like about 5:30, and we had gotten into an argument.
About what?
Just about living arrangements, personal stuff. You know, we just had a lot of disagreements about things.
Okay.
And the verbal argument turned kind of physical, pushing and shoving and whatnot. And as I left to leave, that's when the equipment was damaged. As I turned, because I was just trying to leave. As I turned to leave, I heard a smash on the floor. I turned around, and my equipment was on the floor, destroyed.
But it did not fall as a result of the altercation.
No, it happened after the altercation.
It happened when
Directly
you were exiting.
after. As I'm trying to leave, that's when it happened.
All right, Miss Briley, tell me about it.
Basically, he came home, we got in a disagreement.
You remember what the disagreement was about?
Our living arrangements and personal problems.
What does that mean?
We were just disagreeing on lots of different things. Like, for the most part, it was our living arrangements. But as he pushes me back because he doesn't want to listen to what I have to say.
Well, he's coming home from work. You're home all day. Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes.
You're home all day with 2 children.
Yes.
2 very small children,
Yes.
right? Did you ever have any drug or alcohol problem?
No.
Never.
No.
You hesitated for a moment.
Well, I have drank before, but I've never had a problem with it.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, he pushes me back. I go to get my balance on the stand where the MPC equipment was, and it goes to slide off. And I did help it go to the ground. Like, I didn't try and catch it or anything, but my main argument is it was already broken before any of that ever happened.
Tell me about it already being broken before.
Well, as you know, I stay at home every day, so I did all the cleaning, and it had been in the box for a period of time. And I know he said he wasn't using it for a while, so I would assume it wasn't working.
Well, you can't make any assumptions, so you don't know that it wasn't working.
From what I understood from him, it wasn't.
Did you ever tell her the equipment wasn't working?
No, I have a picture of the equipment. It actually, it was actually in the box. I have a picture of the box.
Can I see it, please?
It's basically a computer.
So what she's telling me, sir, is that she actually did break the equipment, because that's what she said in so many words. She said, well, it started to fall and I sort of helped it. What kind of work do you do, Miss Briley?
I work with the developmentally disabled at a day treatment program.
How much money do you earn?
Is that relevant?
Yes. Anything I ask is relevant.
How would you like it then? Weekly?
Weekly,
hourly,
bi-weekly,
monthly?
however you're paid.
I make about $2,000 a month after taxes.
How much do you pay in child support?
Currently, I don't pay child support. I assist with getting their needs. Like, I went school shopping for my son. I help buy diapers. Like,
Mr. Torres.
Yes.
You are the full-time custodial parent of these children?
That's correct.
You're supposed to collect child support for them. Do you understand that, sir?
Your Honor, when we made the agreement for custody or whatnot, there was a verbal agreement, basically, that she was going to help out in certain things, and I wasn't supposed to receive child support for 6 months, so...
6 months is now passed, sir.
Right. It was a couple months before we got into court, before we made that agreement, and it's been almost 6 months since then, so it hasn't been exactly 6 months.
Well, what I'm telling you, Mr. Torres, is it is not your right to have a support order fixed for your children.
Right.
It is the children's right to have a child support order fixed for them.
Right.
Support order.
I'm in the process. I go back on the 28th. We go back to court, so...
Fine. Do you have a bill for this equipment, sir?
Yes, I do.
May I see it, please?
I actually have I'll just give this all to you. I have a police report, and I have... I don't have the receipt, because it was purchased in about 2001. I do have an ad for the same exact equipment. It's pretty much almost exactly identical.
Let me see it.
You'll be able to see that for yourself. I brought it to get looked at a shop, and they basically rendered it, irreparable, because the motherboard, the internal CPU board is cracked due to the fall.
Did you get a protective order, Mr. Torres?
I had one at one time, but it was disengaged.
Was it as a result of this?
No, it was something that happened prior to, before that.
How much did you pay for the equipment, sir?
$2,400.
Well, you can replace it for $1,700, correct?
That's correct. That's not exactly the identical model, because
May not be, but it's also 5 years ago.
I understand.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,700. That's all. Step out.
What is our excuse? You must step out.
I think she did the best job she could.
I think it was a fair decision.
Well, I think we'll be pretty civil.
I'm going to be able to, purchase my equipment that gets me back on track, so I'm on track, constituents for life.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Young versus Young. Step forward.
Christine Young is suing her son, Shannon Young, for missed payments on a car she helped him buy. Shannon says his mom repossessed the vehicle in question.
Mrs. Young, this is your son. And according to your complaint, he purchased a car. You co-signed for the car for him because he couldn't get the car using his own credit. There came a time he stopped making the car payments. You were forced to assume the car payments. Ultimately, you repossessed the car, took it back from him. Your former husband, his father, took over the car at some point. You want your son to be responsible for the car payments that you made between the time he stopped making the payments and the time your former husband took over making the payments. First, tell me, Ms. Young, when the car was purchased.
It was March of 2003.
What kind of car was it?
A 1999 Subaru Forester.
And it was in your name, sir?
Yes.
What's your first name?
My first name is Shannon.
And Shannon, you are married?
Yes.
And you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
I have 2 children.
Your mother co-signed for the car?
Yes.
And you made payments from March of 2003 up until when, sir?
The first payment she made was $116.05.
Why?
I didn't have the money to pay it.
Did you call her and let her know that you weren't making the payments?
She was informed, yes.
No, that's not my question.
I did let her know that if she was able to make the payment, I was sorry that she did have to make the payment, but she would be reimbursed for whatever payments that she would be making.
So did you reimburse her?
No, she took the car before I could do that.
You say in your answer that you and your mother had an argument.
Yes.
During a summer. Was it the summer of 2005 or 2006? It's not so hard, sir. We're in 2006 right now.
Yeah.
Was it last month or the month before?
It's just that we're always arguing about stuff.
No, this was the argument where you and your wife decided, according to you, that she wasn't going to see her grandchildren anymore.
2005.
So after you had this argument with her and you decided she wasn't going to see her grandchildren anymore, she still made car payments for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Even though you weren't letting us see her grandchildren.
She was not coming by to see the grandchildren. She was there for Halloween. Thanksgiving came and went. She didn't call.
Just a second. I don't ask whether she called. I'm reading your answer,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Your answer said, as a result of an argument that took place last summer, it ended with my wife and I deciding that she was not to see our children, her grandchildren.
That is correct.
And all I'm saying to you is after you told her, don't tell me what she didn't do, you told her that she couldn't see her grandchildren, she still made car payments for you.
That is correct.
Why do you think she did that?
She's a co-signer on the car.
She didn't take the car away in January. She could have.
Yeah, she could have.
When did she take the car away?
I want to say April.
She didn't take the car away in February, sir. You didn't make a car payment.
No, I did not.
She didn't take the car away in March.
No.
So this lady who co-signed the car because you didn't have reasonable enough credit. You were old enough to make babies, but you weren't old enough to have enough credit to buy a car on your own. So she had to co-sign for you. She had to make payments for you when you couldn't make the payments. Then you had an argument with her. You told her she couldn't see her grandchildren. She continued to make payments on the car for you and didn't take it away. I just want to get the timeline straight. Shannon.
Yes.
Must have been a really important argument that you and your wife decided she wasn't going to see her grandchildren anymore.
Yes.
You want to tell me about it?
Why we wouldn't let her see the grandchildren anymore?
Yeah.
She's doing her best effort to involve herself with the grandchildren. She doesn't like my wife, and so she loves the grandchildren because they're her grandchildren. Now, for example, when my first son was born, I called her up from the hospital. And
How long ago was this, sir?
this was 5 years ago.
I'm not interested in 5 years ago. Tell me what happened in the summer of 2005.
Well, she called me up asking when I would be able to make a payment for her. She asked me if I would be able to have the payment for her on Friday. I said, no, I will not be able to have it for you on Friday. I said, I'll have it for you on Wednesday. She said, well, can you have it on Tuesday? No, I cannot have it on Tuesday. I can have it for you on Wednesday because that's when I'm getting paid. And then she started asking me if I loved her or not. And I said, yes, I do love her. And then she started crying to me. And I said, you know what? You don't need to start crying. And then she says, I am making your car payments for you because you're my son and my grandkids need something to drive around on. But it's not the car payment that is upsetting me, Shannon. She says, I know I'll get the money back from you. What's really bothering me is that I have been making your brother's payments on his carpet cleaning machine, and I have made a couple payments on your brother's Mustang. And I said, that's great that you did do that, and I'm sorry that you had to make my car payment, and so it's compounding everything for you. And she did have to make the payments for her 3 sons. But I did let her know that I would pay her back for all the payments that she paid me.
So far, I'm not hearing why she can't see her grandchildren.
Because she asked me if she could come pick the grandkids up on Monday. I said, that's fine with me, but it's really not up to me. It's a decision that me and the children's mother need to make, my wife, Elizabeth. Elizabeth didn't think it was such a good idea at that time for her to see the grandchildren.
Why?
It's my wife's decision. She didn't think it was a good idea.
Just a second.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Don't say anything. Why wouldn't you put your wife in her place, sir, is my question to you. How long are you married?
I've been married for about 5 years.
You know what the divorce rate is in this country?
I don't keep track of this.
52%. That means there's a better than 50-50 chance that 5 years from now you'll be married to somebody else. You know how many mothers you have? Oh, one. You know how many mothers you're going to have in 5 years? One. You know how many mothers you're going to have in 20 years? One. Madam, he's very challenged, and there is absolutely nothing that I can say to you. I mean, stupid, he's beyond stupid. Beyond stupid. Because his wife had a problem with picking up the grandchildren. Here from a man who's just told me that his mother loved his children went out of her way to be supportive of her 3 sons who can't get themselves arrested because they can't pay for their own vehicles, and he decides to say to his wife, you don't want her to see the children? I'm not going to argue with you. She won't see them. Something wrong with you.
There's
Something clearly wrong with you. How many car payments did you... Don't speak to me, idiot. How many car payments did you make for him?
I think there was a total of about 13 payments.
And what was each payment?
They ran anywhere from $250 to $195.
Would you please tell me the total amount of car payments you made?
$1,962.
Mr. Young, that's what you owe your mother. You also owe yourself, sir, a little bit of growing up. One of these days you're going to have heartache. I guarantee you, your heartache will be if something happens to your mother, and because of your lunacy, you cut her out of your children's lives. That's all. Step out.
Why did y'all excuse you and they step out?
He thinks that I'm trying to disrespect my mother. I love my mother very much.
I love him dearly. It's not about him as a person, but it's about the decisions that he's made.
I'm sure we'll be fine. You know, she's my mom. She'll always be my mom.
Rebecca Henson is suing the father of her Hunter Owen, is suing his ex-girlfriend, 19-year-old Jennifer Hansel, for making unauthorized credit card charges while he was in Iraq.
And subsequently you became engaged. It is your claim that at some point you were foolish enough to give her a credit card that she was supposed to use, according to you, for emergencies. The only problem, Mr. Owen, is her definition of an emergency and yours were different. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're no longer a couple. You want her to pay you back for those credit card charges.
Yes, Your Honor.
And second, you purchased a car. The car was for her. You took back the car. You'll explain why. And at this point, if you went to sell the car, you believed that you would be short $3,000, something like that, in the shortfall of what you could sell it for and what the loan is that you're responsible for.
Yes,
so you wanted to pay for that.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's a big problem, sir. I'm going to explain the legalese to you in a moment. By the way, Miss Hansel says the credit card was a gift and the car you took back, and she's counterclaiming for some harassment nonsense. So I'll hear you in due course. When did you start dating the defendant?
The defendant and I started dating about September 11th, Your Honor. About a week and a half before I left to Iraq, Your Honor.
Is that when you met her?
Yes.
2005,
Your Honor.
When did you give her the credit card?
I gave her the credit card in February, Your Honor.
And you were still in Iraq at that time. What did you do, mail it to her?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
So far, is that correct? Why did you mail her a credit card? You knew her for a week and a half.
At this time, Your Honor, Jennifer and I had become very close over the phone when I was in Iraq. We all fallen in love. I trusted her very much. In February, she had got evicted from her house, and she had no place to go.
Do you know why she got evicted from her house?
Because she had thrown a party at her house.
Your Honor, that's not true.
Well, he didn't answer me yet.
Because she had thrown a party at her house. The landlords found out about it, and they didn't like it very much, so...
Is that what she told you?
That's what she told me, Your Honor. So she gave him 2 weeks' notice that she was leaving, and she came home from work one day, and all of her stuff was out in the lawn. She had nowhere to go. At that time, Your Honor, she had no money, so she had asked me to loan her some money so that she could find a place to stay, get food and whatnot. So I told her I would put her on my credit card as a secondary, and she could use it for emergencies purposes only. A couple of weeks later, I got a call from my Discover Card statement saying there had been multiple charges to Charlotte Russe, different clothing companies. I asked the defendant about these charges, and she said yes, I had made these charges to these clothing companies.
Well, did she also charge a motel, a place to stay, anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. As far as gas, motel, clothes, food. I got paperwork if you would like to see it.
Well, I'd like to see it because you did tell her she could use it for emergencies. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You went to stay at a Best Western hotel?
Yes.
Albertson certainly is food, Exxon is gas, Chevron is gas, and Taylor stores. You went shopping for clothes.
I had a new job, and the clothes that I had did not fit the dress code.
That's too bad. Did you ask him if you could use the credit card for clothes?
Yes.
And what did he say?
He said it was fine.
Is that right?
No, it's not, Your Honor. I asked the defendant about it, and she said I needed them for work and that I would pay you back.
Okay. What'd you buy in Abercrombie and Fitch?
Clothes as well.
Also for your dress code?
Partly, yes. Button-down polo shirts.
Where were you working, by the way?
I was working at R.W. Smith in the mailroom.
And you need a new wardrobe for the mailroom? What'd you buy at the Coach store that you needed?
That was a present. I didn't buy that.
Present for?
From him.
He was in Iraq.
You can make online purchases. It was not something that I bought for myself.
Did you buy her a pocketbook at Coach?
No, I did not, Your Honor. There is a receipt there showing that with her signature from the Coach store.
Well?
It was a present from Connor Owen.
You mean he called and ordered it, or you went and picked it out?
What was the date?
What difference does it make? How many Coach bags do you own?
More than one.
How many?
4.
How many did you get in 2006?
3.
From whom?
2 were presents. 1 I bought myself.
When did you buy the one yourself?
January.
This isn't that one. When did you get the presents and from whom?
Both from him.
What month?
1 in March and 1 when he had returned in May.
This wasn't May, so you must have gone in to pick it out yourself, right? This was in April. April 15th. So you went to the store, picked it out yourself, and bought yourself a present from him. She really had a sucker. When in May did you return, sir?
I returned April 12th, Your Honor.
Did you tell her that she could use your credit card for an eye exam?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Yes, he did.
Why didn't you pay for your own eye exam? You're working.
I didn't have insurance, and I didn't have enough money.
This wasn't insurance. You paid for this on a credit card. That's not insurance. His credit card is not your insurance.
That's why I needed the credit card, because I did not have insurance to pay for it, Your Honor.
You had a job. A job pays you money. Why didn't you pay for your own eye exam?
My job was not paying enough money to cover extra expenses.
You mean like Coach pocketbooks?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did she give you any money towards his credit card?
No, she didn't, Your Honor.
You know why?
She was using me, Your Honor.
She's a user.
And later today,
You buy a 16-year-old car, you do so at your own peril. Anybody with half a noodle understands that.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Connor Owen says, while he was on duty in Iraq, ex-girlfriend Jennifer Hansel made unauthorized charges on his credit card. Jennifer is countersuing, claiming Connor is stalking her.
Now, why didn't you take this credit card back from her, sir?
I did not take it back because...
Look at me!
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you got back in April.
Yes.
And you've already gotten some bills. So you know that she's been abusing your credit card.
At that time, I didn't, Your Honor, because my mailing address was being sent to Alaska, my home address.
Listen, you already, according to you, gotten word from the credit card company that they were on alert because there were a lot of clothing purchases.
Yes, Your Honor. This is when I was in Iraq.
But then you came home from Iraq, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why didn't you, the first thing you did, as soon as you came home, take the credit card away from her?
Because when she said before that she would use it for emergencies only, I trusted her that she would.
Mr. Owen, I don't believe you, sir. When did you become engaged?
We were never engaged, Your Honor.
Just a second. On April 12th, I returned from Iraq. Jen and I got engaged, and we were very happy. That's what you wrote in your complaint.
My complaint, Your Honor? I never...
That's not true.
We were never engaged, Your Honor.
Would you show this to him, please? That is your signature on that document, is it not, sir? That's the complaint.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And what does that say, where I have made a big star?
It says Jen and I had gotten engaged and were very happy.
I assume you read that before you signed it?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'll take it back now. When did you break up?
We broke up June 5th, Your Honor.
Why?
She didn't want to have a relationship with me anymore, Your Honor.
When did you take your credit card back from her?
The same day, Your Honor.
And between the time you got home in April and June, did she give you any money towards this credit card?
No, she didn't, Your Honor.
You know why, Mr. Owen?
She was using me, Your Honor.
That's right. But she could only use you if you allowed yourself to be used. She's not a nice person.
I realize that now, Your Honor.
Well, that doesn't make a lawsuit, Mr. Owen. She's a user. And if you had stayed together with her and she didn't pay you this money, you wouldn't have sued her. You decided to sue her because she broke up with you. Now tell me about the car, and then I'll tell you what your problem is with the car.
When I was in Iraq, Your Honor, she had a very unreliable car that was breaking down. I got back, and we went to South Bay Volkswagen to purchase her new Volkswagen Jetta. They would not approve it because her credit is not sufficient enough to have a vehicle.
She can't pay for an eye exam. She can't pay for a new Jetta.
Yes, Your Honor. I talked to the finance officer. He said, we can't approve it with your name under it. Jennifer and I had talked about it, and we had made a contract stating she was financially responsible for the vehicle. I had nothing to do with all finances.
Did she make the payments?
No, she didn't, Your Honor.
So you took the car back?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Where is the car now?
I'm trying to sell it right now, Your Honor.
You can't anticipate, sir, in a lawsuit what you're going to get for your car. That means that I would have to speculate as to what you would get for the car. And we don't do anticipatory lawsuits in this country. Unfortunately, that means that what you have to do is you have to sell the car and then sue her for the difference. Then you have an actual damage. Right now, you only have a speculative damage with regard to the car. Now, who are you?
I'm his mother.
You didn't tell him good enough.
Yeah.
That's it.
Took the car to a dealership yesterday.
I don't care what you took the car to a dealership and what they told you, madam. That's hearsay. He has to sell the car, and then he has to sue her for the difference between what he got for the car and what's owed for the car. And if the court finds at that time that there was a contract that she did not fulfill, the court will enter a judgment against her. I suggest you do that.
Okay.
What?
Your Honor, I'm also suing her for the down payment of the car and the first car payment.
You can't do that, sir. You're in love. And because she disappointed you doesn't mean that you now can come back and sue her for all the things that you really gave her when you were in love. Now, if you were notified in Iraq that she was using this credit card for non-emergencies, somebody that you knew for 1 week before you went there, and you cut off your credit card and sued her for the things she had purchased, I would say, perfect. But what you did was you allowed her to continue to use that credit card even after you came home without taking it back from her, without calling up and canceling it and saying, listen, I love you, honey, and I want to be with you forever. But until we're married, you can't have my credit card. And I'm certainly not going to put down for a down payment on a car, for the first car payment for you, because you haven't paid me back what you owe me on the credit card. Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's a gift. Or stupidity. I don't know which one. Either one I don't deal with. Put your hand down, sir. Now, you have 30 seconds to tell me about your counterclaim, madam.
My counterclaim is because of 3 instances of breaking and entering. I have 2 police reports to support that and repeated stalking.
Time's running.
Would you like to see the copies of the police
No,
reports?
what you tell me?
He broke into my house once after we had broken up, begging me to get back together. I said no. He left hastily. Broke in a second time for the same reason. Again, I said no, and he left again. And the 3rd incident was stalking and threats at my workplace.
Well, tell me about the stalking and threats at your workplace.
Stalking, he was seen at my workplace, waiting
Did you see
for me
him
to come.
Did you see
No,
him?
my witness.
This witness?
Yes.
Step up. Your name?
My name is Rachel, and I'm a witness.
Rachel is a first name.
My name is Miss Spence.
Okay, where do you work?
I work in the same mall as she does at Lens Crafters.
Let me hear you.
Well, I've seen him. I caught him stalking Miss Hansel right here during
Stalking
work.
is a judicial determination. You saw him doing what?
I saw him watching her while I was at work.
Watching her from where?
From behind, like, a corner.
And?
And it seemed kind of creepy to me, personally, which I thought was kind of weird, which is why I'm here.
And how many times did you see him watching her?
I've only seen him once.
When was that?
That was about a month ago. I'm not sure the exact date.
In the month of?
The month of May.
Was I looking at you?
No.
The month of May?
Correct.
Well, in the month of May, they were still a couple, madam. They didn't break up until June. So maybe he was just waiting for her. Thank you. Good night.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Next time, pick more carefully. Not everything that has a pretty face is a nice person.
And later today,
If you wanted that she had full coverage on the car, you put it in the contract.
I'm not a car dealer, Your Honor.
I don't give a rat's two whether you're a car dealer or whether you repair antennas on...
he was on duty in Iraq. Ex-girlfriend Jennifer Hansel made unauthorized charges on his credit card. Jennifer is countersuing, claiming Connor is stalking her.
Okay. Did he ask for any money from you?
Yes.
When?
He asked both times that he had broken into my house.
And what did he say?
He said, give me the money you owe me.
And what did you say?
How much?
Mm-hmm.
And each time it was a different random dollar amount. I asked him to explain to me what it was for, and I would be more than happy to pay him for it.
Oh, well, now he's here to tell you.
I'm waiting for the dollar amount and why.
Well, let's start out by the fact that you acknowledge that he gave you this credit card because you called him and said, I have no place to stay. I'm broke. Can you help me for this emergency? And he gave you the credit card. And I want you to assume for the purpose of your answer, madam, that I don't buy your Ann Taylor or Abercrombie & Fitch purchases as necessaries. Do you understand?
Yes.
So how much do you think you owe him?
I haven't even tried to total it up, so I'd feel uncomfortable giving you an exact dollar amount.
Good. If I told you that the merchandise purchases that you made totaled $1,500, would that sound right to you?
Yes.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. Next time, pick more carefully. Not everything that has a pretty face is a nice person.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counterclaims dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
At the time we were dating, I didn't think I was being taken advantage of because we were dating and the feelings we have for each other. But now that I look back on it, I do see it was stupid.
I think his motivation was to get revenge for the fact that I don't want to be with him anymore.
He's a nice guy. I have 5 boys. They're all nice. We've taught him to give to other people.
I think he's a really nice guy, and it's a bummer that it didn't work out.
Hopefully I can just move on and she can move on and go about her business.
Suing her former roommate, Lulu Onawaka, for a rental deposit, moving costs, and lost wages.
Miss McRae, you were looking for a room, and you rented a room in defendant's apartment. It didn't work out. You were unhappy. She was unhappy. You moved out. And now you want return of rent, deposit, moving costs, lost wages, and emotional distress. She also said, didn't work out. We didn't like each other. It just wasn't a good fit. So you were happy she left. That's either a yes or a no. You were happy she left.
No, ma'am.
You weren't happy you wanted her to stay.
No, ma'am.
Then you were happy she left.
No, ma'am. I wasn't happy she left.
Oh, let me see. Let's see. Okay, this is what you say. Brittany, that would be you.
Yes.
This is your answer. Was messy, played loud music, brought friends in. After that, I let her know we weren't a good fit and would not be renewing her lease.
No.
Now, that's what you said.
We'll not be renewing the lease for the
No,
apartment.
no. Doesn't matter. I just read you something. I read you your answer. Now, does that sound somebody that was happy with their roommate?
I define happiness for myself. I've lived in co-living where I've had to live with people I do not like.
What?
And make it work is what I'm trying to say. So
No.
that wasn't the issue.
The damage she's referring to was actually me attempting to change the locks on the door.
Lock
I was
on the
trying
door.
to change the lock because during my time away, all of my belongings.
Brittany McRae claims her former roommate, Lulu Onawaka, owes for a rental deposit, moving costs, and lost wages. Lulu is countersuing for property damage and storage fees.
Brittany was messy, played loud music, brought friends in unannounced. She damaged the washing machine, flooded the apartment, and without my consent offered to adopt someone's dog. After that, I let her know we weren't a good fit and wouldn't be renewing the lease. That's what you wrote. Do you want me to show that to you?
No, you are right, and that is what I wrote.
Absolutely. Well, then I don't know why you have a passive-aggressive attitude, because I'm the only one who's passive-aggressive. Then you were happy she left.
No.
Okay, well, you're ridiculous. Then weren't a good fit, and yet you were happy with that. And I don't have to define happiness.
Yes.
I know that if I lived with somebody who was messy, sometimes loud,
Okay, so each is
we broke the dishwasher and flooded the apartment because they put regular soap instead of dishwashing soap into the apartment, then it sort of bubbles all over. Now, unless I was either married to that person or they were one of my family, I wouldn't be happy with them. If I had a tenant like that, I would say, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I want out of this.
Okay.
But you were happy.
No, I wasn't. I stand on that.
Okay, then you weren't happy.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I asked you. You could have saved me all this dramatic.
I paid $1,300 and a $300 deposit.
And you lived there for about a month.
I lived there for 26 days.
And things didn't work out. You had a big argument with her back and forth. And as a matter of fact, according to you, you left for a couple of days.
I did.
Yes, because you were unhappy there and felt threatened, felt uncomfortable, whatever it was. So you left for a couple of days. And when you came back, what was your intention when you came back? No, look, not so. Look at me. You left because you were unhappy. You came back. What was your intention when you came back?
I never left because I was unhappy. I left because I was evicted from the property by the defendant.
Just a second. So you didn't leave the apartment after this disagreement?
Yes.
You did?
I did.
Okay. Where did you go?
I actually stayed with my friend.
So you left?
Yes.
On what date?
I left on June 1st.
You
provide some backstory on
I don't need any backstories. I'm just trying to get to a mindset of why the two of you think that you have a lawsuit against each other. Why do you bother wasting your own time, wasting precious court time when you weren't happy in the apartment, you paid for a month's rent. Certainly, you're entitled to your security back if you cause no damage to the apartment. You lived there practically a month, and you're not entitled to any more money because she didn't give you 30 days' notice because you were just as happy that
she had abandoned properties.
What?
She had abandoned properties.
Okay.
She damaged the door, and I lost my deposit as well.
That's a door. An outer door, a door to her room?
Yes.
The door to her room?
Yes, she did that.
You have a photograph of the damage.
Yes,
I'd like to see it.
Please bear with me. I'm going to find it quickly.
The damage she's referring to was actually me attempting to change the locks on the door. I left after I had been informed by the defendant.
Just a second. So you acknowledged the door was damaged while you were trying to change the lock on the door?
I was trying to change the lock because during my time away, all of my belongings were still in the property. Correct.
Listen to me. Did you damage the door?
No. The doorknob was removed, but the door is not damaged.
The lock was removed?
The lock was removed.
All right,
so
I'd like
that
to see.
The defendant would no longer have access to my room, to which she actually did enter my room while I was away.
Okay.
I left because the defendant actually informed me that I would need to get out by that date. After requesting a full month of rent.
You can show me the damaged door and how much it was to repair it, and I want to see how much it was to repair it.
I don't have how much it was, but here is the lease agreement, and we paid $2,900 to be here for security deposit.
Oh, she just took this out. That's nonsense. That's nothing.
I wasn't still able to get my deposit
Nothing.
back.
The agreement
I got
that I...
$1,700 back.
Understand this.
Okay.
This is not damage to the door. She took out a cylinder. All you have to do is put it back. Unless you have a receipt for somebody putting it back, you get nothing.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't put
you get nothing. You get nothing.
It's a maintenance request at the property.
I didn't ask. $300 security deposit. By the way, are you allowed to sublet rooms in your apartment? That's a yes or a no?
No.
Just a, hey.
No,
hey,
no,
don't look down. Don't look down. So the answer is you are not allowed to sublet rooms in your apartment.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you are not allowed to sublet rooms in your apartment. She gets her deposit back. We're done. Thank you very much.
Court is adjourned.
I didn't concede to her requesting me to clean out a garbage at the apartment, and at that point, she lost her entire senses and asked me to move out of the apartment. Always pick your roommates more carefully.
Okay, so I don't have anywhere to go really on this case except to suggest that people who feel good, look like they have a job, look as if life is otherwise okay for them, and they move into this rental situation, which is very difficult. I never could understand it, to move time schedules. I always thought that that was fraught with danger, and it keeps me in business here. But here you have two women that were both unhappy. You had an unhappy tenant, an unhappy landlord. You had a lease, but both of them were unhappy. It really didn't cost either of them anything. Plaintiff says she didn't get 30 days notice, so she should be compensated for $5,000 and her moving costs and storage
fees, some other things. It seemed like a wash to me when I read the papers. And to have your happiness after the end of constant struggle or battle with each other seemed like a win to me, but apparently it wasn't enough for them.
Apparently not. Well, unfortunate. But she's entitled to her security deposit back.
Business.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, everyone.
Hello, Judge. Case number 212, Duenas versus Cho.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Duenas, it looks to me from your papers that you decided to go into a business with someone.
Yes.
With whom?
With the defendant, Brian Chow.
And you know him how?
He's a family friend.
And you know what his business is?
Yes.
What is his business?
He currently sells reticulated pythons, snakes, exotic animals, monitors, lizards.
And you like those things?
My ex-boyfriend did.
Did you?
I was more for the investment part.
Okay.
I was the investor at the time.
At the time you reached out to this family friend who was in the exotic snake business, your idea was to create a business.
No, Your Honor. It was actually the defendant's idea.
I don't care whose idea it was. Your idea was to create a business with your ex-boyfriend.
I agreed to the business, but it wasn't our idea.
Whether you agreed to the business or not, you invested money in the business.
Yes.
which means that unless there's something wrong with you, and I see that there is not, you wanted to go into business with the defendant.
Yes.
So let's be easy.
Okay.
And at the time that you wanted to go into business with the defendant, I'll get to what the nature of that business was in a second. I know it had something to do with that wonderful-looking snake. You had a boyfriend.
Yes.
And the boyfriend liked snakes.
Yes.
And you went along with the ride.
Yes.
What month and year were you still with the boyfriend when you decided to go into the business, which you will explain to me?
Back in November of 2019.
So right before COVID.
Yes.
What was your boyfriend doing at the time?
He was working at an airport.
And he and Mr. Cho were friends?
Yes.
How long had you known him?
2-3 weeks, Your Honor.
Where did you meet him?
He came into my store and acquired
I didn't ask you anything. That's how you met him?
Yes.
I'm going to get through this case and get this lovely thing out of the courtroom as quickly as I possibly can. Wow. Some people find them exotic and gorgeous. I find them a little bit squirmy. So in November 2019, boyfriend and you decided to go into the business. Explain the business that you invested in.
I invested on 5 reticulated pythons in his shop, and together we were going to breed them and make a profit out of them.
So the intention was never for you to take these pythons to your residence?
No.
And you understood that? No.
They're buying the snake, Your Honor.
Okay. How much were the 5 snakes?
In total, it was $10,000, plus the feeding and the cages that he claimed that the snakes needed.
Was it your agreement that for $10,000, Ms. Duenas and the boyfriend were going to buy 1 male snake and 4 females?
They decided to buy 2 snakes.
Well, when was that decision made, sir?
A week after I met him, because
When you went into the shop, did you ultimately decide on 1 male, 1 female?
No, so how it is, Your Honor, is he knew my ex-boyfriend prior to the business 5 years ago. He sold him a exotic Australian monitor lizard.
Okay, what I want you to tell me is, did there come a time when the arrangement changed, so instead of 1 male and 4 females, you were supposed to get 1 male and 1 female?
No, Your Honor. The whole way, it was supposed to be 1 male and 4 females.
Do you have any sort of a receipt for that?
We have Instagram conversations.
Do you have that?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
One male, 4 females. The guy's asking $15,000 for all, and then he says, I'll drop it to 12. Then somebody, I don't have 12 now. I just spent a lot on my monitor. Let's go the rest. Okay, so you say, I don't have that money now. He says, I'm getting 16 lace monitors. You remember that discussion? And then that's a big investment for me right now. I'm saving up to get a house, but I'm down to breed my monitor with any of your monitors. Keep going. So far, I don't have a contract. And then somebody says, no, you pay half and I pay half. Who wrote that?
He did.
1,000. I want to get them, but I'm low on cash till next month. And that's from you. That's from the reptile.
I had to see it, Your Honor.
Okay. If I invest half with you, what will be my return and in how long? Think about it. That's will be the baby's mix price. JTK Reptiles, that's you. Somebody's on their way. That's you and your boyfriend?
Yes. We were on our way to give him the money.
And how much money were you going to give him?
We gave him the first time $6,000 and then $4,000, a total of $10,000.
You received that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what did you purchase with the $10,000?
If you look at the message from there, what she showed you is they pay half of the 5 snake. It means they get 2 of the snake, and I get 2 of the snake. They've been lying to you guys since day one. They want to purchase 2 snake. Then I told them, like, if you look at the message, I can use my male to breed it to your female. It's an investment for you guys, not for us. It's no us. It's not with them at all.
Mr. Cho, were they supposed to take possession of the snakes?
They're supposed to pick up the snake. That's why they come to the store with it.
Which snakes were they supposed to take possession of?
One right here and one out there.
Is that a male or a female?
This is the female.
Has she had babies yet?
No, I don't breed her because she don't belong to me.
And how old is she?
Right now, she should be about 6 years old, going 7.
How long do they live?
Over 30 to 40 years, depends on how you take care of them, like I take care of them.
And there's another one outside the
Yes.
courtroom that's the same as this one. Also a female?
Yes.
And you gave them the $10,000. He acknowledges the $10,000. So we have a verbal contract that you were going to pay for some snakes. He was going to order the snakes for you, which he did. And that was accomplished, and the payment for the snakes was done on what date, the first payment?
Approximately in November of 2019.
And when was the next $4,000 payment?
The same month, I would say like a week.
Good. And when did you order the snakes, Mr. Chow?
Right after I get yeah, because I cannot just acquire the animal without the payment.
Okay, so now you've got the payment and you order the animals.
Yes.
On what date do they arrive?
2 days after, their FedEx delivered to my shop.
And when did you notify the plaintiff that they were there?
The day that they came, I tell them the snake.
And the boyfriend?
They arrived a week after I notify the boyfriend.
Okay. Now, Ms. Duenas, a week later you went to the shop. And what happened when you went to the shop? Now he's got $10,000 and he's got 2 snakes.
I just want to clarify, Your Honor, that we even gave him money for the tanks because here in the conversations it says that he can't continue having them in tubs. So he needs us to give him money to invest to buy the tanks to house the snakes. So our original plan was for him to keep the snakes because he has the shop. We, at the time, lived in an apartment. He was well aware of this, that we couldn't have big snakes in our apartment.
He says no, you say yes. I'm not sure how I can resolve that. I'm trying to simplify this contract.
Cassandra Duenas claims exotic pet store owner Brian Chow owes her money for a snake breeding business. Brian says Cassandra changed her mind about the business after he purchased the snakes.
Okay, part of the contract was fulfilled because you paid him. Then he ordered the snakes. Second part was fulfilled. I want you to tell me what happened when you went to see the snakes. You say to see them. He says to pick them up a week later.
So when we went to the shop,
Who
led us to
Who went?
My ex-boyfriend and I. What led us to there is because after he obtained the snakes, he was not reaching out back to us. He was
Just a week later.
Yes.
You went to the shop. He notified you that the snakes were there. There's no question about that. Now, you went to the shop for what purpose?
Because he switched it and then he said it was 2 snakes when originally the plan was 1 male and 4 females. That 1 male was going to breed with the 4. So right out the back, he lied to us what our agreement was here, that he clearly texted us and said 4 males and 1 female. So it was 5 snakes. So we went to the shop.
Yeah, but there was a problem there with pricing in the Instagram messages, a suggestion, because some of the texts were unavailable. He said originally they were $15,000. And then there was some discussion of $12,000. And then there was some discussion of $6,000. He says he'll pay half and you pay half. And you were always supposed to give them the snakes. Why would you pay half?
Then they get the 2 of the snake and I get the 2 of the other snake. It's 5 of them. And the one that we're gonna pretty much, they can have it if they want it, or I can use it when I need it.
You mean the male?
Yes.
So that was the business. Anyway, you went there and what happened?
So I went in recording. My ex-boyfriend told me, hey, record.
Don't tell me what your ex-boyfriend told you.
Okay.
Just tell me you went in and what happened.
We went in there and we asked him, hey, we agreed on 5 snakes. Now you switched up and you said now it's 2 snakes. First you told us it was $15,000, then $12,000. You were playing games with us the whole time. And at this point, after a week later that he said that he got the snakes, then he told us it was 2 snakes. At that point, we were upset because we had planned and we had counted with 5 snakes. That's why we gave him that ridiculous amount of money. And basically, we didn't want nothing else to do with him. We wanted our money back. And that's what we went for, our money back.
Just a second. Yes. So you walked in wanting your money back?
Yes.
Do you have any text messages, Instagram messages, suggesting that before you got there, you had said to him, we changed our mind, we don't want to be in business with you, we want our money back?
No.
Nothing?
No. He wasn't reaching out. Sorry, Your Honor. He wasn't reaching out to us. He was sending him video calls. He was calling him through text message, my ex-boyfriend.
I don't care. You paid the money. He got snakes. The question is, you think there's supposed to be more than 2? He says 2. More money. So the ultimate agreement was for 2. So what happened when you went there? You're there with your boyfriend.
Yes.
And you say, I want my money back.
Mm-hmm.
And he says,
I don't have the money here. I have 2 snakes here.
Are you telling me that he didn't call you and say your snakes are in? Is that what you're suggesting? Do you have an invoice for these snakes, Mr. Chow?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see the invoice for the snakes. By the way, your boyfriend has other of these exotic creatures. Is that right?
To the people that I get them.
What kind of exotic creatures does he have?
One that he sold him, an Australian water monitor from the Philippines.
And?
He has 2 rhino iguanas, a pair. He has a, I don't know the name, but it changes colors.
Mr. Chow, transfer is August of 2018.
And those are for the lace monitor that
Are these lace monitors?
Yes.
Sorry, Your Honor, these are not lace monitors. These are reticulated pythons. These are not monitors. Monitors are lizards. These are snakes.
Lace monitor bell face.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that's not that.
No, Your Honor.
Well, these are useless.
Yes, but that's connected to the rest of what they did.
What does it have to do with these 2 snakes? What I want to see is when you purchased these 2 snakes.
Yeah, I don't have it, Your Honor.
Well, get it. What do you mean you don't have it?
I left it at home. I'm so sorry.
Well, what'd you bring these for?
Those are the time that they both got arrested when they went to my shop.
Yeah, but you now have those back, right?
Yes.
You have those back. So if you had to take documents, why didn't you take the documents for the snakes in question? The lace monitor lizards aren't in question. You have them back. They may have taken them. They were arrested and you finally got them back. So I don't understand that.
I just mistaken grabbed the wrong paper.
Well, Mr. Chow, do you deal with these people regularly, that you buy snakes from them regularly?
Not really. It depends on the size of the animal and depends what kind of animal.
Well, you have the date of purchase someplace, Mr. Chow, and I don't want you to waste my time.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's why I just said I don't have it, Your Honor.
Did they purchase that kind of snake?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
It was 5 snakes, Your Honor.
Don't give me 5. That type of snake.
Oh, yes, the reticulated python, yes.
And the one that's outside is the same, correct?
Yes.
And you did not purchase baby snakes.
No.
You wanted full-grown snakes because they were a business. You wanted them able to be... breeding. Okay. Should have brought the paperwork. And you went in there that day in November because you had changed your mind.
Yes, and on top... Yes.
Because you had changed your mind.
Yes.
That's the answer. You had changed your mind. You can give me a whole bunch of excuses, and you told him you changed your mind, you want your money back. And he said no, because I ordered the snakes, and I got them in, and they're yours. Contract is completed. I'm merely holding your property. And then there was a kerfuffle.
As well, can we have, receipt? How much did you really pay for them?
No, that's not your business. That's not your business, how much you really paid for them. He made a deal. You paid him. If he got them for $2,000 and you paid him $10,000, that's nothing. The kerfuffle, let's draw this down to its most simple English. Mm-hmm. You wanted your money back and you wanted to cancel this contract.
Yes, it's just when we arrived, those weren't the snakes that we ordered. These were the breed of it, is the ones that he was putting here on Instagram, which I have, which is not those. So we ordered something and we got something else. So
is what you're telling me, you went there to pick up your... Because now it's changed. You went there to pick up your snakes. Mm-hmm. When you got there, they turned out to be a different...
It's breed. It's like the...
Pythons, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They're pythons, but it was a different kind of python. Mm-hmm. Now you're telling me because it was a different python, you wanted your money back.
Yes, because it wasn't what we paid for. It's like we paid for a Ferrari and we got a Toyota, basically. It's basically
You know nothing about pythons, so... You're taking your cues from your boyfriend because that's his strong suit. Is it yours as well?
No, I'm just the investor.
Right. So your boyfriend had a conversation with him and said, those aren't the snakes that I ordered.
Yes.
Okay. And I want my money back.
Yes.
And you said you recorded all this.
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Exotic pet store owner Brian Chow of wrongfully keeping money for a snake breeding business. Brian says he fulfilled their agreement and claims Cassandra stole property from his store.
And you said you recorded all this?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Okay. You just press play.
Which one? Which one?
Oh, right here. And then you press that.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You guys just want to do the money back?
Yeah. The 10,180 in total, and then money on top of that for lending you the money and everything.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, because we didn't see this coming. You just kept on giving us a runaround and a runaround.
Oh, no, what?
About the mail. Remember that?
No, that's why I'm waiting for the mail to be delivered. I don't have the mail.
Yeah, but remember you had told us that the guy had it because he had to leave and he had to gut out because he has surgery and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We gave you the money right there and then. You don't understand what mission we had to go
I
through.
didn't know. I don't mind getting you guys your money back, but I don't have cash. If you want it right now, I don't have it.
We told you we want to do business correct, and you just keep on giving us another day and another day.
You told us as soon as we give you the money, the snake was going to be here.
Yeah, it's not about me, it's the guy. It's not me. I'm just buying the snake from a different guy.
And then another thing where you messed up, you said 5 snakes for $6,000, and you come at me with 4 and you wasted my money.
Yeah, and I told you that he gave me only 4 snakes, the big giant.
Yeah, and why would you waste money if I told you to get the 5 snakes?
If you worry about the last one, I can pay for it. It's a mail that we don't need.
But I have to do all this, so I have to get like this for you to do that?
No, bro.
How can I trust you now?
Bro, the 4 snake is right here.
I'm
gonna go get something. What's wrong with you, bro? I'm just asking you. Let's talk.
No, we're not gonna talk. I told you don't with me.
I don't talk with you, bro.
Dog.
Why? What's
that's
wrong?
Because we gave you a lot of money. We're talking about over $10,000, and you're just giving us the runaround. First, you told us 5 snakes.
This is what we can do. I'll take it. And when you get the money, I'll give it back. Yeah, female too.
Oh, no.
Oh, no? All right, well.
Come on, bro. You're looking at a 15 grand.
I told you don't play with me.
I don't play with you.
You don't even have the money right now.
Open them up, man.
I got the half of the money.
Open them up.
I'm trying to talk to you, bro.
No, there's no more talking because we gave you the money right here and then. That's unprofessional. You're trying to scam us, and you don't do that to people like that.
I didn't. How did I scam you?
Before I open it.
You're telling me that you don't have the money.
I have half of the money because I'm waiting for the snake. Bro, if you guys gonna get arrested.
There's no arrested. We're just getting what you took from us. Over $10,000.
I'm trying to talk to you.
$10,000.
You're gonna open it. I'm trying to talk to you.
No, we try to talk to you. You're telling us you're gonna have the money. I have everything in video.
I don't care. You can record me, bro.
Alright, so are you gonna
You
open
don't
it?
play with people's money. You can call
You owe
whoever
me
you
over
want.
$15,000.
This is 15 grand.
We don't care.
Can you call a cop, please?
No. Alright, watch out. Back away. I told you, don't play with my money.
What are you doing?
What do you mean? He owes me money.
I don't care. He owes us money. He owes us money. He owes us money.
They're gonna deal with it. With the police.
Now I'll play that video, please. That's your boyfriend breaking into the...
Yes.
And when he broke the glass and took out whatever lizards he took out with him, where did he take them? You were still with him?
Yes, he put it in a bin.
And is that you carrying them out?
Yes, and that's the reason why I was charged with the robbery, just because I walked out with the item.
That's all right. That's fine. That's a co-conspirator. Ultimately, the lizards that you took were returned to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it seems, Mr. Chow, at the beginning of this case, I must acknowledge to you that I was sympathetic to your position, that they had ordered snakes. You ordered them. You got them.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then the contract is completed. Uncross your arms.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
But it's clear from the tape that the plaintiff played for me that you acknowledged that you did not fulfill your end of the contract, that you were blaming your inability to fulfill your end of the contract on some third party. Is that what I heard in the tape? I mean, you know, my hearing's not really acute, but that's what you said. I have no control. I can give you back half your money, but I can't give you back all your money. So the contract was not complete.
It was complete because they supposed to get only 2 snakes.
I didn't see anywhere where it says just 2 snakes. There was a whole bunch of conversation there about the male snake, and you were supposed to deliver to them the male snake. And you said, I don't have that money now, but I can get that money for you. I can give you the first money. I don't have the second money. It was clear that the contract was not complete unless you have something to show me that it was. But what I heard, it was not. That doesn't mean that Ms. Duenas has the right to break your property and to steal property that belongs to you. What they do is they come into a court and say, you have my money. The contract was not fulfilled. I want my money back. That's what you do. Are you in the business of breeding snakes for your store?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if we were to go on the internet now,
Yes, Your Honor.
how much would one of those snakes, which is 6 or 7 years old, according to you, sell for?
Right now, this size you...
For whatever reason, if you put up that snake on the internet for sale, how fast would it take you to sell it?
I'd say like about a month and a half.
They're rare.
Yes.
Is that right? That's what you're saying.
It's rare and is just not a lot of people will acquire that much money.
Even though they can sell the babies. And how many babies do they have?
In a year, they can do from 30 to 50.
And each one of the 30 to 50, you can sell for $3,500.
Yes.
I suggest you do that. She gets her $10,000 back. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $10,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
I'm very happy, and I'm happy that she was able to see herself that the defendant got caught multiple lies.
They're just a customer.
He wasn't truthful since the beginning. Ever since we invested.
They bought a snake. I just want to give their snake, but they don't want to take it.
And it's very sad how nowadays you can't trust in anybody.
I think one great lesson that a lot of people can take away from that is you have to know the business that you're investing in. I can appreciate she was sort of doing it for her boyfriend and he had the knowledge about the exotic animals, but that's her money at the end of the day. And if you're going to put your own hard-earned money on the line, it should be a business that you at least put in the time to learn about.
To understand.
Exactly. So that you don't have to rely on somebody else to make the right decisions.
Who's going to be gone tomorrow?
Exactly. Exactly.
And your money
who potentially could, and then you're left on your own, having to sue and navigate a field that you really know nothing about.
Smart. And it was also an example of a contract that was not fully executed.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought when I started the case that there was an offer, an acceptance, you performed, paid the money, got the snakes, and then you can't change your mind. Once you get it, you say, well, I changed my mind. But that's not what happened.
Nope.
And her video demonstrated that that's not what happened because Mr. Chow started to waft. Well, it's not my fault I don't have your mail. It's another guy, and I would give it to you, but I can't give it to you as soon as I get it, you know.
Yeah.
So he did not deliver on the contract. So I had very little compulsion other than to say, you don't have to take the snake and you get your money back.
Yeah.
Anyway, done. Yeah. And the snake is gone.
Left the building.
Honor Jacqueline Davis for party costs and a dress deposit.
Miss Morgan, this is what this case is about in a nutshell. You were celebrating a birthday. When was your birthday?
March 24th.
And you always make a big deal, according to you, about your birthday. It's a very important day of the year for you and for everybody who knows you.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the way Sarah feels, actually. Me, I sort of like to forget birthdays now. I like it to run right by that day as undercovered as possible. Anyway, you celebrate your birthday with a big party.
Right.
And according to you, you get a spectacular dress for this party, invite everybody that you know and care about. How many people were you having for your birthday party?
It was going to be about 12 people.
Where was it going to be held?
It was going to be at the James Harden restaurant.
Who was going to be there?
My best friend from Chicago, cousins, aunt.
And you couldn't get the restaurant for that day, so you made it in April on a different day than your birthday.
Yes, I originally booked it in January 18th. The restaurant, it's a big deal, so yeah.
Whatever. It was postponed until what date?
Yes, ma'am, April 1st.
Okay.
Corey Morgan says dress designer Jacqueline Davis is responsible for party costs and a dress deposit. Jacqueline is countersuing, claiming Corey owes for travel costs.
And you Tax preparer, I understand. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So she's busy. So she makes clothes. She's a tax preparer in season. You made arrangements with her to make your dress, and she was going to make your dress at the cost of $300. According to you, you didn't get your dress in time. It was never fitted at all after your initial measurements were taken. Is that correct?
Yes.
And since you didn't have the dress for your dinner, you had a terrible birthday, you canceled your birthday, and you want her to pay for the dinner.
Yes. Just the build up.
That's Miss Morgan. Mm-hmm. How old are you?
I just made 35, so it was the build up leading to it.
So if you turn 35, I'm a lot older. Sarah's younger, and my other grandchildren, were around that age. I have one that's an event because I didn't have just the right dress. I mean, it's not as if a bride is canceling her wedding because she didn't have a wedding dress to wear. Of course, if you want to get married badly enough, you put a sack over your head with a tie and you walk down the aisle. But you don't cancel the wedding. So you want her to pay for the deposit that you made on the dress.
Yeah, it was.
And another $1,000 or more because you didn't have a nice party.
So originally when I booked it, it was for April 1st. When I tried to rebook it because she told me at the last minute that she was not going to be able to do the dress, which was the week of.
She's not going to pay you for the party. You should have worn something else for the party. Believe me, your best friend from Chicago, your mother and your father would not have cared if you wore that dress or any other dress. You should not be out a penny.
I was out of penny.
Well, you were out $150. You gave her $150. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I gave it back to her. I sent her a refund.
Oh, you did send her a refund?
Yes.
Did you? Just a second. Up. When did you send her a refund, Miss Davis?
I sent her a refund on March 29th. She requested a refund on March 28th, and I sent it directly to her.
To her on March 29th?
Yes.
How did you send it? By check or?
She sent me the money via Cash App, and I returned it via Cash App.
Do you have verification of that?
Yes, I do.
And she kept that money?
Yes.
Is that correct, Miss Morgan?
$150, and she sent me $105 back, but she sent it the week of my event. So
I don't care the week of your event. Did you send her $105 or?
I did.
Why?
Because I was charged a fee with Cash App, and also there were additional items that were purchased that I told her about that I deducted from that.
You can't deduct anything from that. And you can't even deduct the fee from Cash App because what it cost her was more than $150 then to send it to you. Right?
Right.
Right. So why should you send her less?
Because I previously explained to her that I needed to order stone.
It wasn't done. Not even according to you was it done. She hadn't had a fitting on it. The problem is you gave her money, and you should have sent her exactly what it is that she sent you because you didn't fulfill your end of the contract. A day before the party is not time to say it's 95% ready. Okay. She has to give you $145.88, which is exactly what she received. Am I correct that that's what she said?
That is what she said.
$145.88. Okay. She doesn't pay you for your disappointment, for your sorrow, for your party costs, or anything else, just for my own information, because that's my judgment. Did you spend your birthday with your mother and father? That's either yes or no.
No, ma'am.
Who did you spend your birthday with?
My boyfriend.
Oh, was he invited to the other party?
The dinner, yes, but I had to cancel the dinner.
No, I'm just asking.
Yes.
You didn't have to cancel the dinner because you didn't have a dress. That's what I'm trying to get to you. You could have gone to your dinner in that dress. I know, it's silly, and it's a little bit immature.
Because I purchased shoes, my nails, everything was accustomed to the dress. So when she didn't deliver the dress, everything was already in black and silver. I did not have a chance to go look for anything because it was the week of.
Oh, yes, of course you did. Of course you did, black and silver. You put on black pants, black top, and you put on silver around your neck. We're done here. Don't be ridiculous, Miss Morgan. You have to grow up a little. You have to give her back her money. Don't disappoint people. I mean, I know it's busy. It's tax time. You said to her, I'm busy. I'm working on things for the Oscars. You can't disappoint somebody.
This court is adjourned.
I'm not happy about it just because I'd already given her a refund.
I'm happy with the decision. It was pretty much principle for me. She was very unprofessional.
And given from the beginning, I worked with her. And she didn't respect my time, and she canceled on me at the last minute. And she waited to the last minute and canceled the order. So
she canceled at the last minute because she didn't have the dress ready to begin with.
Everything was really on her, but she put it on me because she was unhappy with how she chose to deal with the whole situation.
We'll be getting another dress with my original person that I was going to go to.
Absolutely not.
But from now on, I definitely will be going with who I know.
Will not work with the plaintiff again.
So I remember seeing through COVID, a lot of wedding dress shops closing down and the stress of many of them canceled their wedding because they didn't have the right dress.
I think that one of the life's lessons is as you get older, you have to prioritize the importance of things.
True. Spending time with friends, family, out of town, coming for your birthday. I couldn't imagine canceling an event just
because you didn't
for the
have the
wrong
right
outfit.
dress. Because you didn't have the right dress. So I think that there's a lot of growing up to do, maybe a little less narcissism, because it would seem to me spending time with your boyfriend, your mother, your father, your best friend from Chicago is more important than having the right dress to fit your nails and your shoes.
Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh vlog của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta sẽ có một bức tranh về một đám mây đang mưa này. Các bạn hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu cho đám mây để thật xinh nhé. Đây là một đám mây đang mưa nên là chúng ta sẽ tô màu nó màu xám nhé. Tại vì nó đang mưa mà. Nó sau thì màu xanh. Đám mây màu xám thì sẽ là những đám mây chuẩn bị đang chuyển mưa. Mình dùng màu xám để tô. Màu xám của mình nó không được lên rõ lắm nên mọi người thông cảm giúp mình nha. Giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu để như giọt mưa. Như giọt mưa thì chắc chắn là màu xanh rồi. Và như vậy là bức tranh của mình cũng đã hoàn thiện. Video của mình đến đây cũng đã kết thúc. Mọi người nếu yêu thích series của mình thì hãy like, share và ủng hộ các video tiếp tới cho mình nha. Tạm biệt mọi người nhé. Hello các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã lại quay trở lại với kênh của mình nhé. Hôm nay thì cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô gái nha. Đây sẽ là bức tranh mà hôm nay mình sẽ tô. Hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu ngay bây giờ cho bức tranh cùng với mình ngay bây giờ thôi nào. Trước tiên thì các bạn hãy cùng mình tô màu cho cái phần là gì ta? Đồ buộc tóc hả? Hay gì đó ta? Cùng mình tô màu nhé. Đầu tiên là sẽ tô bông hoa trước. Còn phần dây buộc tóc thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu xanh để tô. Bây giờ thì mái tóc thì mình sẽ lựa chọn là màu nâu để tô nhé. Bây giờ thì cùng mình tô màu cho chiếc váy nhé. Chiếc váy thì mình sẽ tô cho nó một cái màu tím nhé. Mình sẽ tô cái tượng này. Sau đó thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu tím và tô nha. Cuối cùng là mình sẽ tô màu cho đôi giày ha. Và bức tranh của mình như vậy đã là tô màu xong rồi. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này nha. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại ở những video tiếp theo nhé. Tạm biệt. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã lại quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một nàng tiên cá. Nàng tiên cá này thì đang trải mái tóc dài của mình. Hãy cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh ngay bây giờ nha. Trước tiên thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho chiếc sườn tóc nha. Mình sẽ lựa chọn là tô màu hồng nhé. Mái tóc thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu đen để tô nhé. Phần tóc mình đã tô xong. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho đôi môi. Cái sao rồi đây? Giờ thì tô chiếc áo nha. Mình sẽ tô màu cho chiếc lược nha. Giờ thì cùng mình tô màu cho chiếc đuôi nhé. Cái phần vây đuôi thì mình sẽ tô màu tím. Chiếc đuôi thì mình sẽ tô màu xanh ngọc nha. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu xanh để tô những cái cây rong biển xung quanh. Giờ là tô màu cho những cây san hô nha. Tiếp theo là tô những cái hòn đá ha. Và bức tranh của mình đã được tô màu xong rồi. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại ở những video tiếp theo nhé. Tạm biệt. Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã lại đến với series tô màu tranh trên kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một đàn tiên cá nhé. Đây, một đàn tiên cá rất là xinh xắn luôn. Hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu ngay bây giờ cho bức tranh của ngày hôm nay nha. Trước tiên thì hãy cùng mình tô màu cho ngôi sao ở trên tóc của cô nàng nhé. Ngôi sao thì mình sẽ lựa chọn màu đỏ để tô nha. Tiếp theo thì mái tóc mình sẽ lựa chọn màu vàng để tô nhé. Mái tóc mình đã tô xong, bây giờ mình sẽ tô phần khuôn mặt nha. Trước tiên là lông mày. Tiếp theo mình sẽ tô đến cái phần áo này nha. Mình sẽ kết hợp hai màu với nhau nhé. Giờ thì hãy tô đến chiếc đuôi nha. Mình sẽ sử dụng màu xanh trước. Sẽ dùng màu xanh này để tô cho phần xung quanh. Cũng như là tô cái phần vây đuôi. Chiếc đuôi thì mình sẽ chọn màu gì đây nhỉ? Mình sẽ lựa chọn màu tím để tô nhé. Và bức tranh của mình cũng đã được tô màu xong rồi. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Video của mình đến đây là cũng đã kết thúc. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại ở những video tiếp theo nha. Hello mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô bé có đôi cánh rất là xinh xắn. Các bạn hãy cùng mình theo dõi đến với video để xem mình sẽ tô màu như thế nào nhé. Trước tiên thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô cái phần dây cả tóc này nha. Mái tóc thì mình sẽ tô màu nâu nhé. Hả? Sao? Hôm nay á?
Dạo này
Thức khuya quá, chơi nhiều máy tính quá là...
Liên quan?
Có, rất liên quan.
Liên quan?
Quá liên quan. Phần tóc mình đã tô xong. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ lựa chọn màu hồng để tô cho đôi cánh nha. Giọng nó khác nhỉ?
Giọng nghe như quỷ vậy.
Mày quỷ.
Đấy.
Mày quỷ. Ổn. Mình sẽ tô hai bên cạnh nha. Bây giờ thì cùng mình tô màu cho chiếc váy nha mọi người. Ổn chưa? Mình sẽ dùng màu xanh để viền những cái đường nét trước. Chiếc váy mình sẽ tô màu xanh ngọc nhá. Mình sẽ tô phần trên trước. Tiếp theo mình sẽ tô cái phần váy xòe phía dưới nha. Mình đã tô màu xong cho chiếc váy rồi nha. Video của mình đến đây cũng đã kết thúc rồi. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo nhé. Tạm biệt. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình và đến với series tô màu tranh. Hôm nay thì cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một bạn khỉ nha. Bạn khỉ này đang leo trèo rất là tinh nghịch và bên cạnh có món yêu thích của bạn ý. Các bạn hãy cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh nhé. Trước tiên thì chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho hai trái chuối nha mọi người. Mình sẽ tô cả phần cuống của quả chuối chứ. Cười gì? Mình đừng cười gì? Chả gì buồn cười. Xì keo buồn cười. Hai quả chuối thì sẽ có màu vàng nha. Màu đỏ.
Mà tại sao tự dưng lên mua đào?
Hôm trước ta ăn thử quả này ngon lắm. Ăn nó giòn cực. Giòn hơn cả cái đào mà là mẹ hay mua cái đào của lông đúng không? Cái đào này vừa dễ gọt mà ăn nó thơm hơn. Mẹ không biết nào à? Chả bao giờ mẹ mua đào cho ăn nhỉ? Bây giờ mình sẽ tô chú khỉ nha. Em khỉ. Tối bổ cho mà ăn. Cái mận kia tưởng người ta kêu là không chua, ăn vào thấy vừa chua vừa chát. Bị lừa ấy. Cái mận thì chắc chỉ lắc mới ngon thôi. Mình sẽ sử dụng màu nâu đậm hơn một chút để tô phần lông ngoài nhé. Giờ mình sẽ tô phần cành cây nhé. Tiếp theo là cùng mình tô màu cho những cái phần lá cây xung quanh nha. Có khá là nhiều loại lá nên là mình sẽ kết hợp các màu xanh với nhau. Ví dụ như lá ở đây thì mình sẽ tô màu xanh đậm. Và mình sẽ tô luôn cái phần lá nhỏ nhỏ ở dưới này. Giờ thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu xanh nhạt hơn để nó cho các loại lá. Mình sẽ luân phiên các màu xanh khác nhau nha. Và bức tranh bạn khỉ cùng với những cái cây của xung quanh trông rất là tươi mát. Mình đã được mình hoàn thiện xong rồi đó. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Nếu yêu thích series này của mình thì hãy like, share và ủng hộ cho mình ở những video tiếp theo nhé. Tạm biệt mọi người nha. Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình nha. Hôm nay thì của mình bắt tay vào và tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô gái. Đây, một cô gái đang ngồi. Các bạn hãy cùng mình theo dõi đến cuối video để xem là mình sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh này như thế nào nha. Trước tiên mình sẽ tô màu cho chậu cây nha. Phai, yên tâm, phai. Mình sẽ tô màu xanh dương cho cái chậu cây. Thôi mình tô màu cam đi mọi người. Ồ mà Đức ơi, ok. Ê, còn tiếng xe máy. Nghe thử đi. Chắc không, cứ ra nghe đi, không mẹ gọi khẩn cổ mẹ trời ơi.
Đi hồi bạc đi.
Giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho cô gái này. Mình sẽ tô mái tóc màu đen nha. Không phải à Đức? Không phải à?
Dạ.
Để yên cho người ta đang làm bận công việc.
Tối làm hồ sơ cho nên đã phải ít phải tiền.
Và mình sẽ tô màu cho đôi môi. Sẽ thở dài. Giờ thì tô đôi mắt nha mọi người. Chỉ là vui một chút xíu thôi. Giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu vào chiếc váy nhé mọi người. Chiếc váy thì mình sẽ lựa chọn là màu hồng để tô nha. Cho tay ở đây này. Mình sẽ tô cả phần váy dưới đấy nhé. Còn đang vẫn vương. Đố được biết nghe bài gì? Chết vì người anh thương. Còn đang vẫn vương. Anh thương làm trái tim em đau. Và mình đã tô màu xong cho bức tranh của ngày hôm nay rồi nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi video này. Hãy like, share và ủng hộ để ủng hộ những video tiếp theo của mình nhé. Tạm biệt mọi người.